It's not working. Let's go, baby! Bomb arrows to the rescue. Ha! No way! Ah! No! Oh, that assist, baby! No! Don't touch him. No! You... What did I do? That's an accident. Freaking beetle. I got the triple collapse! Oh! Ah! Oh, Dinell, go to the fire thing. It teleports us.
I want my money back.
I trusted you! Trombone. This one is trombone. Yo, I got it! Yes! Let's go! Yeah! 24 hours done. 24 hours finished. Oh, time to beat 23 hours, 28 minutes. Oh my god! We did it! We did it! Oh my god! I couldn't have done it without you guys.
What the fuck up? Holy shit!
Wait, it went through? I gave him $50.
It happens to the best of us.
I'm used to this.
Damn, this is cool. Everyone actually showed up on time.
Yeah, I can fuck off for 20 minutes if you want.
Nah, it's okay. It's not okay.
It's like Mario Party, where you just kept having problems until I installed Mario Party and everything was fine.
Everything was fine, and then I fell asleep. So, like, maybe that'll happen again.
Bro, you did fall asleep.
That was so bad.
Okay. So hopefully you guys got the tournament stuff set up.
Indeed.
Yes. Yes, I did.
I got it all good to go on my end.
Cool.
Alright, so I just have to go into it but not select a character, right?
Yeah, so, well, there's a minute left. I'll explain all the rules and stuff. And then you guys could deafen when you guys start the races. After the first tournament, I'll talk to the winner of the first tournament for a bit, and then we'll go on to the second and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So,
Yeah, I got Pink Tournament, Pink Tournament 2, Pink Tournament 3 in my list right now. Hit
Hell
my
yeah.
favorites. I had to
Let's
literally
go.
do all three of them before.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, awesome.
It's kind of a weird setup. You got 2 Starmans and then a Dry Bones.
Yeah, the dry bones is to represent death, because I did that intentionally, to be honest.
I'll probably forfeit.
Does that mean Starman's alive?
I'm kidding.
I'm in the wrong tournament. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh my
I
god.
forgot about the fact this. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Hold on.
It's okay, I'll kick you out of the chat.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I'm
Time out,
joking.
chat.
I'm doing it in a way that I don't think many people have done tournaments. So, for Mario Kart. So, I hope it goes well.
Well, then, pretty much if you want to get it into the aspects of competitive side, the way that things work as far as when I participated in tourneys is that most of the work like a round robin, where if it's in pools, you have 8 races, and then the top 6 moves on it to the next round. And we don't do tourney we don't do the tourney rooms. We actually do friend lobby.
Yeah, I was gonna do a friend lobby, but the problem with friend lobby is that random people could join. Jesus,
Right.
Jimmy, your
True.
keyboard.
True.
What's
Yeah, we
up?
want to avoid that at all
Nothing.
costs.
Yeah, so that's the biggest reason for tournament. I just hope no one disconnects. But if you do, you could rejoin. You know.
So yeah, if you disconnect, instant forfeit.
Kinda, but I mean, if you're good enough, not necessarily, right?
I've disconnected far too many times for things to want that to be a rule.
Me too.
All
I
right.
hear a lot of loud clanking in the background.
It's
Oh,
Jimmy.
that might be me typing. I'm so sorry. I should probably. Okay, I'm sorry.
I honestly thought you were playing with a GameCube controller or something.
Oh, no.
Jimmy,
to
what
be
are you
honest.
typing with? Hammers?
No, I'm an aggressive typer. What can I say? Sorry. I'll tone it down. I'll tone it down.
Nah, no worries.
Ooh, it looks like I'm
You know what to
refreshing
say.
everyone's stream. It looks like everyone.
Monkeys and typewriters.
Did they say that?
Hold on.
Everyone is live. Awesome.
Why is there a
Oh, God,
countdown?
this-
Do I have to pick a
Wait,
character?
no, leave. Don't join in yet. Leave.
Oh, okay. My
Leave.
bad. My bad.
Don't start.
Don't
it,
worry, it's 10
guys.
points. It's already over.
That's what I'm
It made me-
saying,
it
bro.
made me stay.
Don't,
It made me
guys,
stay.
don't start yet. Don't start.
You
Oh,
can't
no.
leave. until-
Restart
you
your
can't leave
Switch.
until
I
you
don't have a
disconnect
choice.
it.
Restart your Switch.
Just close your
Right,
game.
choose your
Close your
character.
game. Close your
No.
game.
If you said you had 10
Character,
points
then
already,
press
then you know
E.
Ping is going to have to put -10 next to your name.
Ah.
-10 next to your name.
So what did I miss?
Started and there's only 2 people.
No, don't start it yet. Close your game. Close your game.
Dude, I didn't do anything. It started going.
Just close your game. Close your game.
Restart it.
I'll
Close the
explain.
game.
Close game. I closed game.
Yeah, leave. I'll
Oh my
explain
God.
everything.
I figured
The
you wouldn't be able
tournament
to
is
join yet
already
because I'm like I haven't
started.
heard the I haven't heard the talk yet.
Okay.
I thought
Alright.
we were all just going in the lobby.
No. Pick your character, but don't go past that screen. That's like the most
Okay.
important
All
part.
right. So do I go to the first tournament?
Oh,
and
it
then...
definitely went past
Yes.
the screen. Hide the code again.
Oh,
Yeah,
it went.
isn't there yeah, there's a timer. Where
Okay,
after
so
you
don't
play
even
for-
don't even
Wow.
go in yet. Don't even go in
Yeah,
yet.
oh,
then.
because
Well,
that's what
I
happened.
already
went
followed
into
your
the
first
stream,
instructions.
or
Damn
went
it.
into the thing. I was sitting on the character selection, and then all of a sudden it's like 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, it does that.
Yeah, that happens.
So it actually went into the race. That's when I closed. Was when I was sitting on my cart in the race.
Yes, good job closing. So we should be good. Just like hover over the tournament.
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
All right,
Okay.
Ping tournament hovered over already.
Awesome.
I was briefly ready, then I wasn't ready, but now I'm ready again. So it's all good.
So are we still using the first tournament because some people joined and that cost them the first race?
Does it cost you the first race?
Did they start the gate? Did they start the race? Like did it say first race?
I think they started, but then they left.
I had first race, and it like started up the.
That means that counts as your first race.
Okay, so I'll make a fourth race. It's
You
okay.
need to make a new one.
Yeah,
All right,
tournament.
so
It's
starting
respect.
Ping pong.
It's
two.
all right. I mean, if you're gonna have a break, we could always start on tournament 2. If you're gonna have like
Yeah.
a quick little
We'll
pause.
we'll start on tournament 2. I just
okay.
apparently you can only make X amount of tournaments. So I have to delete a tournament to make a new
So
tournament.
delete the first one,
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna try to do it right now.
and then call it Ping tournament remake 1.
That's
Ping pong
way
one
too much.
HD remaster.
Hey, how do you guys feel about me bringing in a ringer to play for me? What if I get the wife to play?
It's
your
fine.
wife
I'm joking.
a
I'm
ringer?
joking.
What?
I'm joking.
I mean, if you're using Joy Cons, one uses one side, one uses the other one, and then just try to use one. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
With motion
Oh, yeah.
control.
Exactly.
No, fuck
I'll
that.
get,
You
I'll
have
get
to
her
do
to
voice
steer,
first, there's
and
no
then I'll do the
What
gas.
is live?
How to
What you
delete?
do is do
Mario
motion
Kart
controls with
tournament.
Motion
with
control.
each person holding one Joy-Con.
See,
Huh.
that's the strat.
Oh
Tournament
God,
to
no.
challenge.
What? You have to remove it during the off period. Oh, that's so stupid.
Okay. Are we sure it won't work?
Well, it will.
Might as well
It'll
try
just.
it, right?
We'll do 2 and 3, and then we'll go back to the first one. All right.
There you go.
I'll figure something
Alright.
out by then,
Now,
maybe.
Tell us when we
I mean-
all have to join.
Can somebody else make a tournament if you can't?
I mean, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, someone else could make it, actually. That's a good point. We'll do 2 and 3 first, though.
Oh, so I'm joining the second one? You put the code?
Yeah, get ready for the second one. The code is on the Discord chat. Do not join it yet. No one
Okay,
join it.
I'll type it in. Hold on, I'll deafen for a second. I'll type it in.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll delete this one. I'll delete the first ping tournament and then
Well,
join the other one, right?
Just leave the first one just in case, but join the second one. Yeah. Oh, which is Ping Pong Tournament 2.
Okay.
Or Ping Tournament 2.
All right,
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right.
So are we all good to go?
I'm already out of
Probably.
alcohol.
Now everyone's not ready yet. I'm looking at everyone's
All right.
streams.
All right,
Yeah,
so what
just let
happened?
me know when
Sorry.
you're ready.
Wow, that's not.
Winning tournament, about to
$5
pick
in
my
your cash?
character.
Where are you from?
You're
Do I
joining,
just press
you're
join
joining
or-
tournament too, right?
Don't
Well, not yet,
press
but I'm
join yet.
saying.
Don't press
Okay,
Okay, I
join.
won't press join yet. I won't press join yet.
But
Yeah.
hover over tournament too, right?
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
hovering over tournament 2 over here.
Okay.
It's the screwed up way Nintendo. I probably you know.
I'm gonna go downstairs and grab my coffee quick. I'll be
Okay.
like literally 30 seconds.
They said hover, don't join. That's what
Okay.
I'm doing.
Yeah. I believe
okay.
in you.
So I'm currently sat on a screen. It says Ping
Um,
Tournament 2, join, view ranking. That's where I'm at.
I'm at the same screen.
Oh, I'll do
Yeah.
that then.
Okay, cool.
And whatever you do,
Join.
don't show that
Oh,
screen
shit, no.
on your screen
Okay, yeah,
because
there we
it
go.
shows the tournament code.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Jimmy just did that. And then he made a face. It's like half of you guys are doing that. You know, it's okay. Just hover over it. Just hover over it. Okay. Be ready to join the tournament.
I'm just sat on my own camera. That's all people can see on my screen. And it's just me.
By the
Hold on.
way,
Still on stream starting soon.
okay, but you're ready, yeah?
Yeah, I'm fully ready.
Okay, cool.
I've
Vibing
been-
out here on
which
my
over
Honestly,
whenever.
it was only
browser
they probably barely see it. They probably have to go back to my VOD, and they don't have enough time for that.
True, true.
So we
Wait,
have,
don't
like,
give them
maybe
ideas.
5
Don't give them
minutes.
ideas. Oh damn it! Gamer said Jimmy leaked. Oh god.
Damn it, gamer.
Gamer, wait. Gamer, if you join, I will permaban you. No cap. Don't do it.
Let's go. Anyway.
Oh yeah. There's a rule. If one of your viewers join, just you're getting permabanned.
If anyone
Permaban.
joins, you're permabanned.
You're
No
permabanned.
joke.
If you're a
Yeah,
VIP,
permaban.
you lose your VIP. If you're a
Oh,
mod,
shit.
you lose your moderator. There you go.
Bosa,
don't join.
Bosa is showing it
Chat,
now.
don't join.
All right.
Chat, don't join.
All right. Okay? Who's not ready? Oh, all right. I guess everyone is
I was
ready.
born
We're just
ready.
hovering over tournament 2
Fuck.
screen, right? Where it says
Yes.
join.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sick. I'm there too.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, because Weez. Can I call you Weez?
What?
No. His name is Wid Weez. So never mind.
Oh, it's Weez, not Weez. I heard Weez.
Can I call you Weez? Is that okay?
Wid or Wheeze, either one works.
Okay. So you're on the starting soon screen. I just want to make sure you're like all good to go.
Oh yeah, I'm just not showing the code.
Oh, okay, cool.
Same here.
Oh, well,
Alright.
no one's gonna join.
I'll just explain everything first. You guys just sit tight, and then I'll tell you guys when to join. And yeah, I'm just gonna explain the rules right now.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
Wait, are we joining? Are we good?
no, just wait, bro. Just wait. All right. Today we're gonna do a Mario Kart tournament, and we have 12 players participating, which is awesome. I'm gonna explain everything and how it's gonna basically go in a second. So let me just change screens here. Okay. So the first thing is there will be 3 sets of 8 races for a total of 24 races. The second thing is that the player with the most points at the end of 24 races wins. The winner gets a $70 Nintendo gift card, which is nice. And if you get disconnected, just try to join back. Unfortunately, it might happen. That's just how Nintendo is. And then if you win a set of 8 races, unmute yourself, because I'll just like ask you as the winner, like how you're feeling so far about the tournament and stuff. Did everyone understood that? If everything's good?
Got it.
Aye,
Yep.
Captain.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So, let me see. Yeah, I guess we're ready to start. So press join, guys, and start the tournament. You guys could deafen now to talk to chat and stuff too.
All right.
Good luck,
Start your
everyone.
engines, everybody.
All right.
Good
Start
luck,
your
guys.
engines.
Good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck.
I'm gonna deafen too. Oh, this is so cool. Hopefully everyone is joining now. I'm gonna just undeafen. Okay, if a viewer joins, you get banned. Yes. Viewer joins, you get perma-banned. From any of the chats, everyone pretty much agreed on that. Reason being because I think it's kind of messed up. We have, 12 people set up right here, so yeah. TED Talk vibes, love it.
I missed that.
Let's see.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully he's good. Hopefully he's
Pretty sure we're all
good.
here.
Yeah, we have almost everyone in there, it looks like. Ooh, everyone is in! Everyone listened! Let's go! Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so what we have set up here, basically, is if we want to zoom in to see
Listen,
how
chat.
one person is.
We're cruising.
We could do that.
This is late for us.
Weez is feeling pretty confident here. Let's see, we got Clover.
Fantastic.
Bit quiet.
Really feeling it, as Shulk would say.
We got Sammy
Very
feeling
good.
it.
It was good.
Let's see, who else? Let's see how...
And it seems like our first stop is Rainbow Road N64. We're getting
Ooh.
that good music today.
Good music. Let's see how Xavier is doing.
No, wait,
Pretty
I'm seeing-
quiet. I saw him training
I'm doing the
yesterday.
wrong
He was playing pretty well.
one.
Yeah, let's go. Who's this? Luxio.
Oh, easy boost. Let's go.
Luxio's... His camera is so far away from his face.
I don't see this going in my favor.
Nah, he's not feeling very confident. Fairy over here.
Working, Sorry.
No!
It didn't even say like it disconnected, right? It said not responding.
It's not working
And I can't even watch.
like this. Damn it. Rip.
Oh, doesn't have protection. Never mind, that went right off the cliff.
Fist
Fuck.
right here.
All right, this isn't the
With
best
his
start.
loud
I'm not
mic.
gonna lie.
And we got Bosa. Oh, let's just see who's doing the best. Yeah. If you could message Zythius, tell him I'm sorry. Just like message him. I would appreciate that. Ooh, let's see who's in first here. We got Boom in first. The Boom Bap. It looks like no one seems to be that close to him. Let's see. Who's in second here? Who's closest to Boom? Oh, we got a third player here, Sammy. Sammy's in second place behind.
Second is
Boom.
good though.
Looks like Boom is so far ahead. Maybe Boom was too good for this tournament. I'm not sure.
Dang it, he's protected.
He could be seen though.
see him.
Sammy does see him.
He's
So.
too far away from me.
That's not the worst.
Wait, he fell?
Oh, he fell! Damn, lightning hits and
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Sammy
Ah,
gets
that was
hit
like the
in
worst.
second.
The worst.
Let's see how Weez is doing.
This
Weez
is my
screaming.
race. Yes, I won.
Hey, Weez won the first round.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm putting the standings at well, I'm not sure, but we can actually check the standings. Let's check the standings for a second here. No, I'm not playing. I'm trying to talk over it and try to be a host. I go to Ping Tournament 2, view standings. Let's see if it updates that quickly. It does. That's awesome. So we got Weez with 13. You might not see it because my face is over it, so I'm actually going to move my face here too. Okay. We got Weez with 13 points. Xavier second with 2. Peachy, I don't remember who that is. We got different names here, so it's a bit harder to see. You got Kid with 7 points in 5th, Sammy 6, Clover, Nuff, Jared, Bosa, and Lux in 11th. Unfortunately, Zythius was not able to join, which sucks. But fortunately, how it is sometimes. Let's go back to the tournament.
Say you're
Take-
spectating or what's
No,
up?
I'm at a map
I messaged him
selection
in his
screen.
Yeah, what's up?
So, I mean,
isn't in.
Yeah, it just said waiting for everyone to suggest a course, and
No one was in the course. Were
Yeah.
you able to? Are you able to like leave and then try to join back in?
I tried that, and nada, but I can give it another go here.
Yeah, I'll try that again. Unfortunately, that sucks because everyone else is in. We could hold
I'm good to start again.
We could hold a vote after this race, see if everyone's good to restart. But you might have to like sit tight until the next tournament, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
All right, I'm gonna deafen again. Barry's gonna win? I don't know about that. Weez was doing really good the first round, but now he's in 9th, not doing well at all. Let's see how Clover is doing here.
That's snipe.
Clover got 7th place last time. Pretty much around the same place. I mean, we got some crazy competitors here.
Well,
Third,
at least we have one protection.
Sammy here. Sammy looks like to be a top contender. He might actually win the whole thing in 2nd place here. Still trailing behind 1st place, though. Fairy's in 1st. Let's check out, see how Fairy's doing. Wow, Fairy is in 1st. That's kind of a surprise. No offense to Fairy. Fairy is a bit newer to the streaming world, and his Mario Kart skills weren't the best in the past, so I'm proud of him being 1st here. That's pretty awesome. Let's see how Jimmy is doing. He's always loud. See if he's saying something.
I need an item so bad.
Well, he recognizes how bad he is.
Guys, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Jared's even in front of me.
Even 7th place.
I won't lie. I've already written off winning that
Trisket
fucking
doesn't
gift
look
card.
very
Like
confident.
it would have been dope. It would have been nice to be able to get a Pokemon game for free, but
damn, no confidence.
I will be satisfied with just a nice night.
Bring your confidence up, bro.
Hanging with the boys.
Let's see how Bosa is doing right now.
Like star powered, and I can't even catch up to these people. What kind of hacks do they have for?
He's getting
what kind of
triggered
hacks
because
do you
everyone's
guys
so
have?
good.
I swear to God.
That's funny.
Catch up to you people. I picked the slowest build. I had to have.
You gotta maximize that mini turbo stat, you know?
I just wanted to hear what they were saying in the Discord there, but not much. Let's see the ranking right now after the 2nd race. Ranking's obviously going to be slightly different. Unfortunately, Zytheus couldn't join, which sucks. He's really awesome, but let us view the updated ranking list. We got Weez still in 1st here, so Xavier in 2nd. This is actually pretty close. Sammy actually doing pretty bad that round, and Lux with 1. Maybe it didn't, oops, maybe I shouldn't show you guys the codes, but maybe it didn't update there, but go back into the tournament, see how it's going. It's pretty dope. Thanks. I'm trying to make it dope. Let's go into Lux, see if he's saying anything.
Have you ever got your heart broken?
He's so quiet. He has to bump up his... Or maybe I could
Maybe if
bump
he
it
was
up, I
this man,
think.
then I
Let's
cry.
see.
I've got a grand total of 4 points, man.
Interact.
I think.
I'm going to bump up his volume
stand
here.
third
It's a
place.
bit low.
No, 3rd base. Right.
That should be better. Let's see how Lux feels. He's been doing
No,
pretty
go
bad
we
this whole
got this.
tournament here.
Big
I'm gonna bump up
clutches.
his volume even more. Bump it up. I wish I could have made it. Yeah, next time. Win for me, Kakashi Sensei. Ooh, this is quite an interesting map because
I don't
it's
understand
really
the
anyone's
whole
game.
taking people's speed boost.
Lux kind of taking a chill route here. Let's see how Fairy's doing. Fairy was trailing 1st place last time. He's 4th. Not bad. Not bad, Fairy. Fairy's doing pretty well. Let's look into Trisket. He wasn't very confident before. 9th place.
Dude, this is supposed to be like my fucking map, and they're just making me hate it.
Aw,
It's
that's
my
so
party,
sad.
and I will sob in the middle of the dance floor if I want to.
Let's look at Bosa here. Bosa's pretty quiet, just concentrating on the race. Fair enough. Except for that last second. Clover in first. Let's see if Clover could remain first. I saw Clover playing yesterday, actually training for this tournament. So, we'll see how far he's able to make it. Ooh! Almost gets passed by, looks like Fairy last second there, but does not. I hate this map. Oh, Fairy is an 11.
I am a fucking thief, and you should know that about me, because I'm going to steal your dubs.
I hate this mouse. Mouse? I hate this mouse.
It's not looking good for all the contestants there. Let's see if any of them are saying anything in the Discord.
I'm gonna keep clicking this volcano one. That looks interesting.
You're the worst kind of person.
The volcano one is hard.
Just terrible.
Yeah, the volcano one is hard to do good in.
I'm a pro
my
gamer
opinion.
though. That helps me.
You are a pro gamer. That is true.
Pro gamer moves.
Pro gamer strats.
Yo, MLG in the chat?
Programmer.
Voting for Grumble Volcano does not make you a pro gamer. Anything, it lowers your gamer stat.
No, having an MLG account makes you a pro gamer. God, Jesus. You don't know
True.
Major League Gaming. Yay.
All right, I'll add you guys on game battles after this. We can start tracking stats.
I'm gonna deafen again. Enjoy, guys. Damn, look at everyone being such good sports here. But look at the rankings. It doesn't look like it's getting updated. It's kind of frustrating. I thought it would get updated. It only showed the first one. But we'll see. We'll see later, I guess. All right. Let's see how Fairy's doing.
Yeah, great boost guy.
How you doing, Chris?
Dude.
Ooh, this map is, you know, if you run into carts all over. Fairy's doing really well in second place here. Wow. Trailed by Kid. Looks like Kid is up in front.
It's about to be hate. Or love?
Fairy is second. The leaderboards are not updating, unfortunately.
Didn't see that green
Yeah,
shell.
Kid is in it. Thanks to you for retweeting it, Mike. Or requoting it, or whatever it's called. I appreciate that.
Just hit the bus.
Alright, let's see how Wheeze is doing right now.
It's going swimmingly.
Wheeze is in 10th, starting the match in first place, the tournament. In 11th place now. Damn, how far he has fallen. Let's look at Clover, see how Clover's doing with a red shell in third. Clover has a good chance to take the lead, or at least get in second, to fall behind Kid. Let's see. Let's look at Kid. I think Kid is Boom. Kid is not Boom. Boom is in 10th. Boom is in 10th. Kid is Heroes, actually, I believe. So he should be in first right now. Yep. Freaking first place, trailing above everyone else right here. This one's way more good looking. What's up, Yesik?
Uh-oh. Did not mean to throw it forward.
He's not even worried. He's far ahead of the competition. He might be a little too high ranked for this tournament. But don't worry, we're gonna make the last tour. Don't tell everyone else. We're gonna make the last tournament double the points.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that, bomb.
If first place is too far ahead, to make it a little more fair, you know. Let's see how Fairy is doing right here. Fairy is still trailing in second, which is pretty impressive. Oh, ruining his chances for the lead actually right there. Let's look at Jimmy here.
Fifth overall. God damn it.
He's pretty
I
frustrated.
need to get top
for
3
getting
again.
fifth.
If we have any chance.
Cumstered right now. It's the one with the half balls and a few other color balls. That's Snook. Okay.
Very second. Sammy top 5.
Okay, yeah, no, I love that game. That shit's fun as hell.
Let's see.
Man, I need some gum.
Let's see what they're all saying in the Discord right now.
A concern to raise. Jimmy. He's deafened. This motherfucker.
He's deafened. He doesn't want to talk to you.
I was second the entire time. And
You
I
were.
did not see Kid for like.
Kid
most
is
of it. Like,
insane. Yeah, Kid might be
what
too
the fuck?
qualified. My betting skills were bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry, Jared.
You're out here racing on another person's account. How do we know it's not compromised? How do we know you're not the? How do we know you're the real Jimmy and you're not Peachy?
Because I think I've raced against the real Peachy, and the real Peachy isn't that good.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Well, Barry had you down with the vouch, so I guess I'm good. I have no further line of questioning. Good luck, everybody.
Alright, good luck.
You guys are lucky I'm just warming up. Let me just say that.
I want to cry.
44 points. Whatever.
Ooh. So I just thought of something. I should zoom in before a race starts to see where everyone is instead of looking at the standings on the tournament through Switch. So we're gonna start doing that. Clover is pretty good. I think consistently gets around top 5. We see him struggling to get top 5 right now, actually. Let's see how Heroes is doing, or you know, how Heroes is in 4th. I think Heroes is Kid in this tournament. My brain is confusing itself. Heroes is in 3rd though.
Ow.
Makes for some interesting gameplay right here. He's not in 1st. We have Wheeze actually coming back here, being the first in the first race and having a lot of confidence, but losing that lead kind of early on in 4th here. Peachy in front, and Danny just got him. His names is different. We got Bosa in 11th, a bit mad. What are the rules?
We can come back. We can come back. It's not over yet. It's only lap 2. Lap 2. We got a whole buffer lap.
Looks like he's in
we got a whole buffer lap. I'm getting a Bullet Bill right now. I knew it. Bullet Bill. Bullet Bill. Easy peasy around the tight corner.
Great question. The rules for this tournament are basically that there's going to be 3 separate tournaments of 8 races each, and the combination of the scores for all 24 races, whoever has the highest score is the winner. Wow, that was a great way of explaining yourself, Ping. Good job. Wow. So that's pretty much how it's going right now. Let's go back to the tournament, see how everyone's doing. Bosa actually comes back into 9th place. That's pretty cool.
You guys are really and truly gamers.
Let's look into Lux. We haven't seen Lux's gameplay in a while. This is the 3rd round. He's in 10th place, not doing that well today. I think Zythius hasn't... Ooh, Zythius still is not able to play, unfortunately. He will be in the next tournament, though. He got disconnected, unfortunately. We got Wheeze making him... Oh, he falls in 2nd place! Falling behind literally...
Joke, bro.
Oh, my God! Falling behind literally everyone.
That's a joke!
That's so unlucky. Oh, my God. And we witnessed it right here, too. Sammy's excited to get first. Let's go.
Did someone say talent and skill? Oh, poggers!
Poggers, all right. Let's
That was
see
a good
what
one.
leaderboards look like. Ooh, he's
I'd say
tied
that
with
was a good
Nub.
race for us.
Fairy
Kiddo
and
is
Sammy.
very much in the...
Fairy and Sammy tied for first. Let's see what people in Discord have to say right now.
Bro, I went from 10th to 2nd.
Or maybe 10th. I don't know.
I went to 2nd.
I feel so bad.
You passed me. I was in 2nd until like the very end, and then you scammed me.
Bro, Wheeze got so unlucky. We saw that live. That sucked.
I got hit by 3 bullets.
Oh my
a plant,
God.
and the blue shell. I think. I don't know.
I cannot wait to see the VOD of this.
Yeah.
That was a bad one.
Well, I don't see everyone's perspective at the same time, but it should be a good video, YouTube video at least, you know. I hope you guys are enjoying it, though.
I'm having much fun.
Yeah.
I'm having much fun. What am I to Doge?
All right, good luck on the next race, guys. I feel really bad for Zythius, though. All right, let's
Crossing
look
Love is out there.
and see. We got Jared with 19, Sammy 38, Danny 25, 52 with Kid E. Actually, quite a bit of points. You have to actually look at the numbers. Tournaments don't auto-order by most points to show standings. Oh, then as my mod, please help me. Oh, thank you for the bits. I do appreciate it. Usually we would have something going on.
We're in
but
spring season.
I just turn stuff off so it doesn't distract the thing. I do really appreciate it, though. Thank you. If you ever do one of these during the week, I'd be down to join. I won a few tournaments in the past, but this looks really cool. Thanks. Damn, 2nd place with Hero here.
Ah.
Let's look at 5th. Ooh, he's actually struggling here with Fairy.
Oh,
Fairy
snap!
Consistently being the
That show was coming on to me. Oh no.
top dog over here. Let's
I can already see
let's
this
look at
happening.
Fairy's perspective right now. See how Fairy's doing. How he's feeling in 1st place. Ooh, just total concentration here. Ooh, a ghost has stolen. He's like consistently in 1st here. That's crazy. All All right, let's go to Bosa. He's probably raging right now, which is always good content. Let's see how he's doing here.
I'm in 10th. This is crazy, dude.
There he is, getting mad. You know, getting to 9th place. Oh, no. Struggling to stay in 9th. That's fine. Is this
a co-stream technically? I feel like we got to be interacting or something.
Triscuit is in 6th. I guess he wanted to interact more with people on the Discord. I'll let people know that they could undeafen to talk to each other for the next.
You guys, I'm lonely back here.
Tournament.
Stop using power-ups.
Okay, that's we're getting into the 3rd round here. We got Weezin 7. Unfortunately, not looking too good for him this tournament. At least the first part of the tournament. Let's go to Clover. We haven't seen Clover's gameplay much today. Lately. He was top 5 pretty consistently. He's trailing a bit behind. Ooh,
I am
Sammy
in so much danger right now.
Let's just look at Sammy's gameplay. Kind of try to understand how he's been able to stay on the top for so long. Ooh!
Oh, get dunked on it!
Last second, he gets first place.
They can't hear me, it's fine.
So that's some crazy stuff right there. Peachy in 2nd, Xavier
that went well.
in 3rd over there. We have to look at Lux getting in 4th, doing a bit better.
Like I said, it's not over till it's over. This
only thing I've decided I will stomp you at.
People who speedrun a single game, that's what they do. They're just like, I'm gonna be the best at this. This is it. I'm settling. Fuck everything else. And that's you with Paris Promenade.
I'm not that good at Paris Promenade. I'm just better than you.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what they were talking about. All right, let's go back and see how everyone's doing here. We'll go to Clover. Clover's pretty quiet, so we could
I think it is time to bring out the Roy.
talk over him a bit.
Not want to have to bring out the Roy.
Yeah, what do you mean, Doctor? You have to
Takes
actually look
time.
at the numbers. Tournaments don't auto-order by most points to show standings.
Okay, interesting.
So do I just
Would've loved
screen?
to see the Sunshine Airport, but
No, it shows
hey,
all
what
the
can we
numbers
do?
here. We got
You know?
Sammy in 1st, Peachy in 2nd, Nuff in 3rd. I thought Nuff was playing better, but apparently not. Hey, Clover starting in 7th. Let's see if Clover can make any ground here. Ooh, getting straight ahead right there. I guess with his card and his player, right in 1st place, ahead of the entire pack. Let's see how long this will last. Green Shell just whizzing by him. Getting those perfect jumps right there. Doesn't order for overall like it does in private lobbies. Ah, okay, gotcha. Just for that race, yeah? Gotcha. But it will at the end of the tournament. It should. Clover consistently staying in 1st here. Wow. Let's go to Xavier. He hasn't been speaking much, but I saw him practicing yesterday on stream for this tournament. Unfortunately, his cam is covering his place over here. So we don't know what place he is in, but he is right behind Clover, so it looks like he's in 2nd place here. They're going neck and neck here. Very quiet, very concentrated. Going back to Clover here. We see him just getting those perfect jumps. Let's go to Heroes, see how he's doing. He was doing amazingly in the beginning of this tournament. Now falling a bit behind in 4th place here. Apparently something happening to his quality too.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know. Oh, falling. That's it. He's gonna be
Oh boy.
not gonna be doing that well at
Already off to a good start.
yeah, that's not the best thing to happen with only one round left, one lap left for the race. Let's see Jimmy. He's very loud. Let's see what he's saying over here. 6th place, not too bad. It will? Okay, awesome, Doctor. Right behind Jared. If he hits Jared, we're definitely gonna. Ooh, Lux passing him with a rocket.
A lightning would be fantastic.
He gets
lightning.
Right, let's go back
please.
to Sammy. See if he's still in 1st here. He's in 3rd.
Another one.
Oh no, Clover was in 1st. Clover is in 2nd here.
Oh, I
couldn't see who passed him. It might be Fairy, but we'll
snipe.
see it in the end. Oh, falling behind there, right towards the end of the lap.
Okay.
Sag is in chat here. Let's see if we could pinpoint who's in 1st here. We see 2nd, 5th, 11th. My eyes aren't that good. But it looks
Glad
like
you decided to join
Heroes
this.
got.
If this was during
Nope,
this
Heroes
week,
got
I'd be
6th.
racing alongside with you. But
Let's see. Weez is in 10th. Looks like he's not feeling too confident about that. Xavier getting first place there. I think his first place. Sammy with 62 points. Heroes with 63. 1 point above. Those two are really fighting for the win here. See if they're saying anything in the Discord now.
but that
We
series
hate
of
ping
events,
pong
though,
too, throwing upset Trisket emotes, and that's it.
Yo, how's it going, guys?
Fantastic.
Chilling.
Yeah,
If anyone
you gotta
wants
stop
to
stream
bullshit
sniping ping
during
pong.
the race, I'm only muting and I'm not deafening. So if you want to chit chat during it, go for it.
Yeah, I heard you saying that during the race. So I think for the next part of the tournament, I'll mention that for sure, because that's a good
I
point.
bet, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna
understand
deafen.
The point of deafening is everyone is
Yeah,
mute.
whoever wants to. I'm just saying, if anybody wants to chat, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm just no one hears this.
I'm a big fan of chatting.
Yeah, the only reason I deafen is so I could like commentate or whatever, you know.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That is fair enough.
But you guys are
Yes.
more than welcome
What,
to
you don't
talk
like it
to
when
each
we
other.
speak over you, ping pong?
Nope.
Yo, I'm gonna
Goodbye.
fucking yell in your stream.
Use it, but that's like literally third place is the highest I've placed. So.
Ooh, third place is the highest. You
Oh, you
placed.
stick with them no matter what. Gotcha.
Interesting.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
see if
using
Boom
Gold Medal Mario and the.
is better here. Boom is in first. Starts off in first, so that's pretty good for now. Gonna view the standings here. Oh, gets passed by Clover. Clover playing really well as well. Let's just stick to Boom for a bit here. See how he's feeling in first place with his gold Mario. Jesus, I have nightmares from gold Mario because of Doctor. But you know, it's fine. Ooh, Clover falls, basically screws up, and Boom gets hit by a red shell. Let's see how Xavier is doing here, since he took a bit of a lead there. Xavier, well, we can't tell what place he's in, but it looks like he's in third place, vying for first. Very close to the first and second place players. Clover right ahead. Clover playing really well this tournament. Both of them not having too many crazy items. But Xavier does have that red shell that he could use against Clover to make a comeback here. That's weird, PP. I have nightmares. I don't know what to tell you. Ooh, Clover also has a red shell, so that kind of gets interesting. If there's no blue shell action here, Clover could...
Please?
Oh!
Are you kidding again?
No! Clover falls! Falling behind well, a couple of other players here. There's some crazy stuff going on. Try to pinpoint who's in, vying for first or second here. We got Heroes here in second. Not too surprised. Ooh. Really, really close to getting hit by that red shell. I'm gonna refresh his page. Maybe it'll... There we go. He's in first place with a banana on his back.
I don't know if we're gonna make it.
Because of Doctor.
Because given that this is Mario Kart, anything can happen.
True, anything can happen. That's why this tournament is awesome and really cool. Because in Mario Kart, anything can happen. You never know who's gonna win here. It looks like he's going to get first place here, though, unless someone could take it away from him.
Woo!
Nice!
Woo!
Heroes in first. Let's see how everyone else has taken that.
Oh! I didn't fucking realize. Oh my god.
What happened?
I had a star and I didn't use it. My brain is so small.
I forgot that
Okay.
I was unmuted when I shouted out "That's bullshit" very loudly.
We finished.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the end
Shit.
of those 8 races.
That was a great warm up, guys. It was awesome. I can't wait till the tournament starts. That was a great job.
I am super warmed up right now.
Same, brother.
A bit of a warm up there, yeah.
Bro, that was the easiest game of my life.
I saw how you were doing. Wasn't the best.
Yeah, you see, I can see the whole map better than you guys. So,
It's like, Lux, we are not representing the UK very well here.
The UK didn't need representing. Let's be honest.
So unfortunately, the standings are not refreshing right now. So I don't know who got first. It'll refresh eventually, I think. But
Kid did.
I'm pretty sure it was me, but I don't know.
They're on my stream if you want to have a look.
Okay.
It's like,
yeah, it should say like Bosa at the top.
there's a whole like view ranking.
It's the least amount of points that wins, right?
Yeah, the rankings is not showing for
it should
me
say, like,
very
Bosa
well.
at the
Let's
top.
see.
Yeah.
Okay, here, yeah, we got
It's
Kid in
It's the least
first
amount of
here.
points that wins, right?
Yeah, the rankings.
I have dedicated that wins.
Hang on, be right back.
Okay, here, yeah,
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Wheeze was in first, I think, the first race, and then
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
and then you had second place, and then you got screwed. Xavier
Yep.
did really well towards the end, getting some score towards the end. Mary, you were falling. You're falling. I don't know what was going on there.
I had.
And then
No, I had,
Samuel was playing really well.
There was no middle ground for me. I either finished in the top 3 or the bottom 3.
Believe me, I know that feeling. I know that feeling of getting Mario Kart.
Believe me, I know that feeling. I know that
I was
feeling of
just
getting
trying to
Mario.
teach my daughter how to play.
I was just concerned why the Donkey Kong keeps going after me.
It's Mario Kart.
Right?
We go after everybody up in here.
The Donkey Kong player kept knocking me over the track, kept hitting me. I'm like, yo, I'm being targeted
I
by this
would get
Donkey Kong.
first the whole entire time, and then at the end get bullied. I don't understand.
Wario Stadium.
Yeah. So
we don't
I
talk about
hate
Wario
Wario
Stadium.
Stadium.
Yo, you and me were fighting for that first place. We were literally first and second the whole race until I took it because you got hit by the second blue show, and then you got fourth that race. I'm like, oh, that's not good. What happened?
Oh yeah, so
I
guys,
just don't want to talk about it.
nice job, guys. How does it feel to be first? Just a little bit of an interview. How are you feeling for the next 2 tournaments?
Honestly, my hands were pretty much sweating throughout that race because I didn't think I was gonna get this far so far. Again, anything can happen and happen here because I've been playing Mario Kart since the 64 days, and I know anything can happen. And
Yeah, it was.
anything can happen.
I was really happy to see how close it was between everyone. It's well, not between everyone, but you know, it's a good race. I think good mix of people here.
Between
Honestly,
everyone.
for me, I hated AB Park, and I was going head to head with who was the Yoshi? Who was
That
the
was
white
me.
Yoshi?
That was me.
That was Jimmy.
Okay, well, good racing
I
to
think.
you, Jimmy, because that was a very close race. I could not stop smiling or
Oh
laughing.
no, Clover,
it was
Clover.
good,
I'm
like,
sorry.
neck and neck.
Yeah, Clover.
Oh, it was Clover?
Yeah, Clover
Okay.
was like neck and neck with you.
Okay, but yeah. Honestly, that was a pretty good race, despite the fact that I hate Baby Park with all my heart and soul. But still, that was a very good race when it comes to like close and close.
Yeah, it was awesome. So now everyone go to Pink Tournament 3. Also, you don't need to deafen. Some people want to actually like talk with each other during the race, which is I'm fine with that. I'll deafen just to commentate or whatever, but you guys don't need to deafen if you guys want to talk to each other. And
well, I don't mind it, talking with you guys just like we're doing right now when it's in between breaks. But for me, I feel rather comfortable, definitely because I want to talk and interact with my audience, and
We're picking now, right? We're going in there.
Oh yeah.
So
Hold on,
everyone
okay.
Hover over Pink Tournament 3. I'll just be like 3, 2, 1, go. And
Okay.
I really hope
gotta
Zytheus
put in.
can join this time.
We'll see.
I feel so bad, bro. Like I was really worried. I was hoping no one was gonna get
Okay,
disconnected.
I'm hovering.
All
So
right,
is
is
the
everyone
We're hovering over join right now, yeah?
hover
Okay.
over
It's the
join?
prize
Yes.
for all 3 tournaments. Like, whoever
Sorry,
wins out of all 3.
Yeah, well, I basically combined the score from all 3, and then whoever has the highest score will win.
Cool.
Okay. So
I'm not
joining
ready yet,
now?
I'm sorry. 1 second.
Okay,
I was in the bathroom.
Or are we hovering
don't join.
still?
Don't join yet.
Hovering? Okay, hovering.
Yeah,
That is
hover
the
over
word,
join. Do
hovering.
not join.
Is it the third one?
Yes, Pink Tournament 3.
Okay,
No
I'm
one's in,
second.
right? It's gonna start if someone's in.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's in. I hope
Good.
no one's in.
I was in. I was almost finished picking.
Bosa, stop.
I mean, you're like, yeah, join now, and then it's like, wait, hover, don't join. What are you doing?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, let me know. I'm hovering on join now too.
Okay, first I'm just
We're
gonna
hovering.
ask: is someone not ready? Okay. I really hope that means everyone is ready.
I'm ready to go.
Please.
I'm ready to go. I'm still
okay.
pretty nervous, but I'm ready to go.
I
Let
am
me-
so unbelievably ready.
Good to go.
Same.
Okay,
Yo,
I'm
fair
ready.
enough. That's from RuneScape, right?
All right. everyone, join. Press yes. Join the tournament. Let's start the second part.
It's
Let's do
actually a
this.
coincidence.
I really hope everyone could get in. Please.
Amen.
Especially
I had a-
Zytheus.
Going in now.
I mean, the thing, whoever's top 3 or 4 just has to be bottom 3 and 4, and then Zai just got to get first the entire second, third race, and he can win the whole thing. There you go.
Well, I plan on it.
So basically,
So.
it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster at this point.
You know what? Everyone follows Zytheus at the end of it, at least. You know.
We'll just give Zytheus the average. It's fine.
Or do that. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, I'm in.
Yes. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Everyone
Alright,
looks like
we
they're
all
in
on the
now.
racetrack.
Awesome.
There-
Hell
there are
yeah.
definitely 12 people. So unless one of them is gamer, everything's good.
Also, I
Yeah,
guess.
good luck, everybody.
Good luck. Well, I'm looking at everyone's streams. It looks like everyone is choosing maps right now.
Actually,
Awesome.
I was. I was
Welcome in,
gonna keep myself-
everybody.
I was going to keep myself unmuted to talk, but after last time where I just swore very loudly in the middle, I think I was going to mute myself for this one.
That brings the content, man. I don't care. I'm gonna just deafen, but yeah, you guys are more than free to like talk your hearts out.
Yeah, no,
I have the ultimate build. I'm just saying, guys, you don't need to be afraid or anything, but like, guys, you don't need to be afraid or anything, but like.
Oh, look, everyone is at 0 now.
that'd be
Zytheus
so
finally
demotivating.
able to join.
That'd be a big hit.
I'm so happy. I really hope he does amazingly well
Sorry.
here. He was unfortunately
We wanna
disconnected.
accelerate past
For
everybody
no
right off the
apparent
bat
reason.
here. Yeah.
Which
good
really
start.
sucks.
Mm-hmm. Not well.
Just change up the music here. He's gonna start off here in 9th, but I mean it's the start of the race, so it doesn't really mean much.
All right.
Using a Bowser
We're
on
in
a
the game.
bike. It's pretty ballsy. Bowser is very heavy, you know.
We're in the game.
Let's increase his volume here as well, actually. Increase his volume here. That should be better. That should be much better. What's up, Mac? How you doing? He's in 3rd place. It looks like he might actually... Oh, Red Shell. He might actually be doing really well here. Fighting for first with Xavier
We're
right
competitive.
in front
You
of
can feel it. You can feel the competitiveness in the air, huh?
him. Yeah. I think he's feeling good about it. Oh, gets hit by
because I had a
fire and gets passed by a couple of players. It looks
there
like
was a time to
Clover.
follow. It was right.
Clover might have taken the lead there. Let's look at Clover. Yes, Clover indeed did take the lead. Doing really well so far in this tournament of 8 races that have passed so far. We're 1/3 of the way done with the tournament. And Clover is ranking pretty high up there. Let's see, he's holding the bomb. Kind of scared of anyone behind him here. Ooh, but he gets passed by... Not... Oh! Was there a blue shell coming? Why did he stop? To get hit with a red shell. Let's look at Wheeze over here. Wheeze not feeling too good about the tournament so far. Not playing his best as he was playing in the beginning. And still kind of struggling here. Keeps getting hit by everyone. Let's look at Triscuit Biscuit, Jared over here. Jared has some chill music on.
Fuck yes, I'm a thief.
Feeling pretty good. Looks like he's gonna get 7th place. That's okay.
Oh,
that's
fucking
okay.
fumbled that at the end. Whoopsie.
Not the worst there.
Whoopsie.
That's a good run-out shot.
See Clover. Clover did
But we're
indeed
saying
get first.
we are not here to mess around.
We got Kid in 2nd,
We mean
Sammy
we are
in
not here
3rd.
to mess around, boys.
Lux in 4th. Lux actually coming back here. Let's see if Lux is saying
This
anything.
is our game to win.
This is
Easy,
our
though.
game to win. He's, looks like he's
Hey,
having
pick
a
them
good
up
time.
quick. Pick them up.
By my own stupidity.
Looks like... good
I
job,
thought
guys. Good
my
job.
item was a shell. I went to throw my shell. It was a mushroom, and I boosted straight into a bomb.
That doesn't sound very smart of you.
No.
Yeah, we DC'd over here.
Wait, you DC'd?
Oh yeah, right in lap 3.
No.
So,
Motion controls isn't easy.
No. You're the only one, too.
yeah, I know. I'm aware. I'm not happy with it.
I wish I...
Oh, no, again?
I wish I could
Yeah.
do something for you, but...
No, it's fine. You guys, we'll see if I can get into maybe the next one. I don't know how it works. It doesn't look like you can really rejoin.
You should be able to spectate and then...
Yeah, it doesn't let
rejoin.
you. It just puts you on the Earth, and then you just watch by yourself. you know, like the waves go by and stuff.
I'm really sorry, man.
No, you're all good.
I'll make it up to you somehow. I don't know how, but I will.
No, it's not nothing you did. It's
I know,
either Nintendo or it's Wi-Fi, but
It
I
actually
don't think
was
so.
something Ping did. It's just he's.
Yeah, I'm hiding
just
it.
fucking with
I'm
you.
Just
not telling
pretending.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. I'm sorry, man. Damn. That sucks. But the tournament does go on. That is Zytheus in chat if you would like to follow him or check him out. Let's see. Heroes is actually in third here. Clover in second. Clover consistently playing really, really well. But Peachy is in first. Like Heroes is not
bad
doing,
for you.
not doing as best as the last part of the tournament. It looks like. Let's go to an overview, a big overview here again. Let's see how everyone's doing here. First place is Jimmy. That's
The double
surprising.
item. We need the double item.
I play pretty well on this map too, personally, but look at that face of concentration. With the second lap, first place, I mean, anything can happen. It's still Mario Kart.
Fuck me, dude. All right.
He has a green shell ready to unleash upon all his foes. Let's go see how Lux is doing. He was fourth place, I believe, last race. In fifth, he's getting consistently better here. Xavier getting hit, though. Falling behind. He was like top 4 earlier on, so let's see how Jimmy's doing now.
No. Oh, thank God. Thank God,
Jimmy
thank
fell
God, thank
behind
God, thank
to
God.
second. Behind Clover.
I see Clover, but she has 3 mushrooms, so I don't think I can do anything. And I don't... All right,
Clover's
guys,
a guy.
second, whatever.
Let's see how Clover
I was not
feels
touching her.
about
She had the
his,
horn anyway.
his win there.
2 in a row. 2 in a row.
Feeling pretty confident about himself here.
Breathe, guys. Breathe.
Which makes sense.
Oh my God.
We got, he's actually leading in this part of the tournament.
That's 2.
Doing really well. I think with 29 points, I think it said.
Breathe.
We haven't popped in to see Boom. How Boom's feeling. Let's see if Boom's saying anything. Boom is, Boom's kind of quiet here. I would also be quiet if I wasn't first place. No, I would be raging, actually. That's fine. See, we got 3 random maps chosen here. I wonder which map's going to be chosen here. See how Fairy's doing.
Yeah, 100%.
Fairy's just chilling. Everyone's just chilling.
No,
here.
I can see that.
It's making me...
If you guys are enjoying, follow or subscribe. Or actually, the best thing, if you're a small streamer, check me out. I just did an exclamation point small streamer. If you're a small streamer too, I'm making a YouTube small streamer channel, so you could send your clips. I'm gonna put your clips on YouTube. Yeah. Short ad break. Let's go back to the tournament. Let's look at Fairy a bit here.
Honestly, I only have like 30% certainty of actually having
I'm a
done
small
it.
streamer,
There's
so
a
I
right
can
turn
join,
there.
yeah. You need a camera though. So no, you can't join.
Oh, I have done this right before.
Fairy is in 11th place here. 10th place. Struggle. Oh, did we just see Wheeze falling? Did Wheeze just fall there? Yeah, Wheeze did. Wheeze is falling behind here. 10th place. I feel bad for Wheeze. Wheeze started off really strong, really confident this tournament. Let's see how Sammy's doing. We haven't seen Sammy's gameplay in a while.
This tournament's probably going to take me at least 2 hours. Probably get to sleep.
Falling a bit behind here in 7th place.
Oh, that's unfortunate for them.
So I should
Once again, how am I dodging these moves?
I shouldn't move.
I don't know. I'm not complaining.
There we go.
That's what we call the rollback. Oh.
This is second out of third map, so.
I did not mean to throw that, and I went up.
Ah!
I was like,
Xavier
I got hit by my own
him.
shell. Never mind.
Let's see how Xavier. Ooh, Xavier getting
Dang it,
hit
Clover.
as well.
You're lucky I
Clover
left
is
Black
just
Clover. Good anime.
Black Clover is a good anime. Clover is just demolishing in this tournament so far. Look at Clover, see if he's saying anything.
But it's fine.
Clover in second now, actually. Sends a red shell and mushrooms through to try to catch up to Heroes here. Or Kid.
Pretty far lead, but that also means blue shell.
Look at
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Heroes is still in first after getting lightninged and inked. I mean, everyone gets lightninged and inked. The third race, let's see if he makes a crucial error and falls behind and has someone else like passing. That would be pretty crazy.
All right.
Oh, he's chilling.
For now.
He's chilling with the sound right now. Blue shell is no threat to him. It looks like this race might be his. See if anyone else is trailing behind here. We got 1, 2, 3 over here. Clover in second, Sammy in third. Clover kind of far behind. Looks like Heroes is gonna take this one. Let's see what Trisket says.
Bullshit.
Trisket in third. Wow.
I'm a filthy thief.
That was nice. Trisket actually going in third there. Bit of a lag there, but look at first place here.
We are catching up. The Roya is a 35 points is at 35 points, and we're at 33. We're catching up, y'all. We're catching up.
Yeah, he's saying it for me, so I don't need to say anything. That's beautiful. Let's see if any of our competitors are saying anything.
Most L's held in the lobby. Like, that should be a real tournament.
Yo, you guys don't want to make that bet with me. I'm telling you right now. You don't want to make that bet with me in the game.
Yeah. What's the wooden spoon price for whoever comes last?
If you come in last, then you're permabanned from my chat.
We're all meeting up in person and hitting
Really?
the spoon.
No? Why would I do that?
Hey, Ping, whoever comes last has to shave their head.
Yeah.
For a haircut.
That's like
No,
for those that don't know.
no.
For those that don't know, me and Bosa did like a streamer versus streamer thing, and he lost and he had to shave his head, so he's bald now.
Wait.
It's actually coming in quite nicely.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But that's anyway, good luck in the next race, guys. Good luck.
All right,
Looks
here we
like
go.
Everyone kind of deafened themselves.
Fuck, I missed it! I was reading Solaire. God damn it, you really are an invader. You're an invader with the host of fucking whatever mirror on.
Hey, Bosa is very smart here. Bosa went bald, but he's wearing a cap so no one could see it. Very smart strategy here by Bosa.
I ruined it.
Go to Xavier. Xavier has been placing pretty high up, but not high enough.
What?
Throughout much of this tournament. He is pretty close to Clover and Kid right here. So that's pretty cool. Clover and Kid are doing pretty amazingly here. 3 bananas will give him some coverage for some time. Oh, he misses the speed over there. Damn. Let's see how Clover is doing. Vying for first place behind Kid. Kid is insane. Ooh, gets hit by fire, but gets a red shell in and passes by Peachy over there. Peachy not looking too peachy there. I have the best jokes on the platform. We got a Clover. Just trying to look to see who we could zoom into here. Let's zoom into 4th place here. I can't count. Jimmy is Peachy.
Thank God.
Jimmy's actually doing really well this tournament. But he'll have to pick up the slack to
No.
Gets in with a green shell.
I need a bullet bill. Please,
falls behind.
Please.
Lux,
good item luck, please. Good item luck. Good item luck.
Passing all his competition.
Pretty far up.
3rd place. Look at Lux go.
Oh, we got the triple boost.
He just needed a warm up. Right behind Clover, who's consistently getting top score here.
Oh my god, there's so many stars behind us. Oh, come on, give us the 3rd.
I don't know if... Ooh, gets
We
3rd
got 3rd
place.
place.
Pretty good for him.
Let's go.
Let's see how Clover's...
Oh, that's pretty good. We'll take that.
Clover's taking the 2nd place. Looks like Hero is doing way too well.
My heart. My heart.
Which is not a problem.
My heart. My heart. My heart.
His heart.
Best map in the game, you mean, Fairy?
Yes, the best map. I love Toad Harbor. Today I beat Gamers Time Trial in it, so I feel really happy.
Yo, let's go!
Guys, Kid is demolishing you guys. Go.
Oh yeah, Kid is the ringer in this.
Play better, make it more interesting. Come on.
Why are you bringing pros into this?
I didn't. He's not a pro.
Ping's actually got a Ping's got a deal going with Kid. It's like, all right, just beat them all, and we'll split the cash 50-50.
The commissioner, like supposed to be on top of this
Bro,
shit.
I tried to balance it. I'm sorry. But listen, if you guys are having fun, that's the most important, right?
That is true.
Yeah. Plus, it's free.
I love
and free exposure.
coming in last every race. It's amazing. I love it.
Doesn't sound like you do. All right, I'm pressing the same button 3 times. That's not good. Everything is lagging. Okay, we're good. Fairy is indeed playing. Let's go into Fairy since you're shouting him out. See how Fairy's doing here. Everything is lagging. Fairy was like in top 5. He was doing really well in the beginning of the tournament, but I think it's a psychological game, to be honest. Kid and Clover have been at it toe-to-toe for much of the second part of the tournament, that I think everyone else has been kind of not feeling it. Ooh, Doctor. Can you actually make... wow, Fairy actually in first. Never mind. I spoke too soon. Sounds like he's singing here.
What if I do it? Oh, it's a race. Can I do it?
Fairy, Doctor, can you make a tournament?
I can!
I'll send you the rules, and then they'll just join with the code. You don't even need to be in the tournament, you know? Well, don't be in the tournament.
Fuck, blue shell.
Ooh, Fairy gets hit with a blue shell. Getting passed by... Oh, and a green shell. A beautiful good green shell.
Him and everything he stands for.
From Kid. Let's see how Kid feels about that one. Kid is pretty quiet in second place here. I'm going to bump up his audio a bit. He's just quietly concentrating, it seems. Nothing wrong with that. In second place, not bad also. Let's look at Bose. Let's see if he's raging a bit.
It's no big deal. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. No big deal. No big deal. We don't get angry in this channel. We don't get angry.
Sounds like he's getting angry.
You know what I'm saying?
Coming to the third. Ooh, Clover falling behind here.
Speed, baby! With the speed!
I love Bosa. All right, Clover actually falling behind here in the third lap, third race of the third lap of the final race here. Well, I don't know if it's the final race. 8th place, pretty crazy stuff going on here. Let me see if I could.
Nice.
Yeah, can you make a tournament, Doctor? I'll send you the.
It
rules
went for the shortcut for me.
If that's okay.
Nice one, Ghost. Can I go
If you're
through
here.
this? No, I can't. Why can I not? I didn't actually know.
And we see Clover in 6th. Let's see if Wheeze is doing. Wheeze is in 8th here. We have Boom in 10th here. Ooh, it looks like the first place hero just got hit, but is still in first. Or completed. Let's see. Damn. That's crazy.
In the city,
let's go one more
you
time
got
to see
to
it.
keep that dream alive.
He's just
where
demolishing
everything is free. Can't you see?
demolishing the contest, the competitors, and demolishing music.
Icarus flying too high.
I got blue shells.
What's
I
that
got
feel
blue
like?
shells, and then after Kid came first, took over in front of me, he immediately threw a green shell behind himself to hit me. It was like really good. Really.
Yo, who came in 5th?
What?
Who came in 5th that race? Because I took 2 fucking bullet bills, like a full lap around the goddamn course, and I was like I'm like literally 10 meters away from the finish line. I get hit with a red shell.
So,
as soon as I come out of the bill.
Oh, we love that. Except
I love when that happens.
On the first lap, I actually managed to get the hop on top of the tram. It's like if you got one of the ramps and land on top of the tram, you can trick off of it.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I just felt so godly.
And we're going back to basics. This is the second time we're on this track. I mean, good track, but still basics. Basic.
People not liking the basics tracks.
All right.
Let's look a bit at Wheeze and see how Wheeze is doing.
Here we go.
Yo, Donkey got that dumpy though. What?
I got you.
Oh, Wheeze not
try
getting
and
the
win
boost
one.
here.
Okay. I can control this bike.
Still playing pretty competitively. Ooh, barely dodging that.
Have a chance at this one.
That still confidence a bit though. You see, he's like, I have a chance at this one. And he does. You gotta remember, he was first in the first race.
Oh, what?
And doing really well and getting a bit unlucky earlier on. He's a really good player actually. But I think Clover and Hero or Kid are just getting everyone a bit crazy here. And Clover actually falling behind here in 5th. Let's see how Jimmy's doing. We haven't seen how he was doing.
Boomerang snipes? You kidding?
2nd place.
Yeah, you
nice.
kidding? Oh shit, guys,
Right
guys. And this is how I win.
Nice. Gets those boosts to 1st place.
Oh, that felt good. That felt good. That felt very good. This did not feel good though. Fuck me. Fuck me, dude.
Getting passed by Clover and Kid.
No! What a fucker!
What Boom is doing here. Boom is a quiet one, just full concentration. Nothing wrong with that. But he has that gold Mario, which tells you that he's an experienced player that's just not having a good day here. Running out of all 3 of his mushrooms here. Kind of falling behind here a bit. Ah, getting hit by Bosa,
Dude,
one of the
and
worst
another
players.
fucking set of mushrooms. Oh my, I'm about to fucking lose it, dude.
I get mad when I get mushrooms all the time too. I feel his pain.
They both got stars, and I got fucking mushrooms.
I would be.
I'm gonna get a blue shell. That's not gonna help me get any further right now.
I would be saying the
someone
same
else
exact
got the
things
blue.
as him. Yeah, fixed period.
Look
As
how far
long
ahead
as
these are.
it doesn't really matter as long as it's like current time. Like put it like for March 19th, 9 p.m. or something. Lux in 11th here. As usual, playing terrible. No, I'm joking. Lux played pretty okay.
Bro, we didn't even get across the finish line.
He didn't even cross the finish line. It looks
he
like
just got
Clover's
fucking sent right back.
has
That was
67.
miserable.
Kid has 70.
Ugh.
It's pretty close behind.
Oh, bro, and he's featuring. Bro.
With the top players, it's really, really close actually. Let's see what everyone is talking about.
Here, I'll show you right now.
Here, I'm watching. I pulled it up.
It's grown in quite nicely. The bald spots. I mean, really, what happened was I had a sudden realization that I'm much more bald than I thought I was. Right here, particularly, I got that Vegeta than I thought I was. Right here.
Oh my God.
From that point on, we don't take the hat off.
At least you don't have Vegeta's forehead, so like you got that going.
Oh
my
and
God.
From that point on, we don't take the hat off.
At least you don't have Vegeta.
You look fine, Bosa.
You look good with it.
I needed that. Thanks, guys.
Why did so many people vote for mute setting?
I'm having a really rough day today.
It's
I
okay.
Did not vote, so can't be mad at me. Or at least not on purpose.
During the Mario circuit.
Well, I
think
mean,
whatever.
she didn't vote. Picked you. Okay.
You fucking get.
It's like I got hit by a boomerang like
Picked you.
4 times in a
Okay.
row.
I fucking get.
Australian Ninjas got it.
Let's look here. We have Clover with 67. We got Kid with 70. Those are the top 2 contenders for sure, but it's still anyone's game. There's more than 8 races left, and it's a good time. Oh, I forgot to deafen. It's a good time. 8 races left, and it's a good time. Okay, I heard myself. Let's go to Wheeze. Wheeze just consistently not playing too well today, unfortunately. But, you know, still has the effort, still has the desire, and that's what's important, you know? Look at Boom right here. Boom was a bit, complaining a bit last round because he kept getting mushrooms, which he in fact did keep getting when people around him were getting stars and stuff. He was complaining like I would in that circumstance, but he's doing really well now in top 3, which seems to happen a lot with the other players playing really well, but then Clover and Kid just kind of pacing ahead of the competition. There's just silent determination here. Really, gets hit by the banana though, and that's probably going to put him back for a lot of this race, to be honest. Let's see how Clover is doing, what he's saying, what he's thinking, you know? just total concentration here too. Ooh, just passes Kid for first place.
Why did I waste my mushroom there? You're probably wondering. It's because then if I didn't, then I was gonna get hit by the fist, and I did not want that.
Pro strats from Clover right there. You gotta remember, all these players were practicing and training before for this tournament, for the $70, but really for the
All right,
victory.
it's not
I
over
think,
yet.
more than anything. Hero's falling a bit behind here. Heroes is Kid, by the way, for anyone wondering. The names on screen are for their Twitches, so you could check them out on their Twitch channel. Xavier finally making a comeback here on the top 3. Let's see how he's feeling about it. Total concentration here. As he attempts to... Will he be able to get the fire on... Oh, he separates from Clover. Throwing the fire behind him to get some tension off of him. Trying to get first place here. Pretty intense for the top echelon of players here. Let's see how the bottom echelon of players are doing. Not that they're worse in any way, but, you know, let's just see how they're doing.
Could it get any worse, may I ask?
Good timing, good timing. Ass is in 7th
Seventh?
place
Okay,
there.
whatever.
Okay. Okay. Damn, 81.
By 1 point.
We're there. Both
All right, it's all come
23.
down to this. It's between me and the Canadian Roy.
Yeah, it's between him and Clover. Let's see what people are saying.
I'm still unmuted, so if you say anything, I'll hear it.
Yeah, so some of us are on deafened, so
We're on
we
deafened,
can
I
hear
mean.
Ping
I'm not
forgetting to
deafened at
mute
all.
himself.
What?
You guys, I'm always here.
What's
for
the
you.
worst map out of these 3?
Thank you.
Out of these 3?
Wario Stadium.
Dry makes me want to scream.
Wario Stadium made me
I just read
maybe
it,
like
Wario
Baby
Stadium.
Park. Wario Stadium made me like Baby Park. That's how much.
Whoa.
Give me that cloud top, baby. Extra puffy.
Cloud Top might be the best. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what my friends call me.
I kind of like Baby Park.
I do too.
I love Baby Park.
Fuck!
All the chaos.
See,
We
guys,
need Baby Park in here again.
you know why I'm not racing, right?
Why?
Because I would win, and it would be too embarrassing, so...
That's
Because
true.
you don't have a Zen mode.
Yeah, I would
You're
scream,
doing-
actually.
You're doing us a solid though. Thank you, Ping. You're giving us a chance.
You're welcome. This is what I do for you guys. Alright, good
Aw.
luck. Alright, let's look at...
Yeah, this is not going well.
Sammy's still enjoying
I'm
it.
gonna need some good Kingdom Hearts 3 to cool off.
Sammy was playing really well in the beginning, but Kid and Clover
I
kind
think I
of
started changing my MacBook.
took the competition away from everyone. And I think more so than anything, got it into their heads. Because you have to remember, half of these players were like pretty neck and neck in the first tournament, especially the first half of the first tournament. And I think when Kid and Clover started winning first place more often, it got into everyone else's heads that they were so much better. When in fact, I think a lot of these players are around the same skill level, but I could be wrong. It might be the tournament that's getting into their heads. Let us see how Triscuit's doing. This is rigged.
Get rid of all the hate in the world, and the way you snuff out a fire is by starting a bigger fire. So, I just come out of nowhere, just being a mean little bitch, and I'm able to stop racism with salt. There you go.
Don't know what Triscuit's talking about, but it sounds interesting. Look at Bosa here getting...
Time will tell. That's right, Steph. Let him know. Give it to him.
10th place.
Let him
Ooh.
know who he's fucking
He just mushroomed
Goddamn.
outside of the map.
See, that corner there is just not a good corner for me. It's just not a good corner.
Let's look at Lux over here. See, it's nice that they're still enjoying it, even though they know it's kind of hard to get first place now. Lux is just in total concentration.
Oh, I love this right here. Let's go.
Look at Boom over here. See how Boom is doing. Just quiet concentration on the last lap here. Understandable.
No.
He's been really close to getting top 3, and a lot of the times just makes a mistake or just gets hit in the worst timing possible. Right now he's 5th, which means Clover looks to be like 3rd. So yeah, what Heroes is doing here. Heroes is in 4th. Wow. What a round. Sammy coming back here.
Did that mean he didn't have protection? God! Should have just saved the stupid shell!
Just
I hate it, but he had too much speed.
That is sad. That is sad. Xavier getting first here. Let's see how Xavier feels about this.
Oh no, we're not talking about oh boy.
I think I must have just missed
I think
what he was
Kid
saying.
definitely won again.
He thinks Kid won. Let's
Oh,
see.
man.
Let's see who won.
I want to see the standings. What we got? I got fourth place that game. Dang. So I went from third to fourth. Okay.
Damn.
Oh, Clover won. Oh, by 2 points actually.
Clover won by 2 points.
Good job,
Kid was
Clover.
in second. Sammy in third by like 25 points. That's actually crazy.
These guys don't even understand how good I am at Mario Kart. It was just a complete fluke. Oh shit! Sorry, I forgot to mute. My bad, guys. My bad.
I come back. You like
Mario wrong.
Well, at least say I've moved down a place, but Lux has moved up 2 places, which means that the Brits are 1 place better off than we were before.
Hey,
there you go.
Yeah, but I think you're outnumbered, so it doesn't count.
I will say the one
see
race
how
that I
small
did that I
your day is.
DC'd on, I took first on my screen. So if you average my per race to finish, you know, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
I just gotta say, I never didn't finish a race.
Yeah, no DNFs on my record.
Yeah, so
That's fair. That's fair. It's a good point.
I've been consistently mediocre.
Are we doing the first one? Sorry.
No, so the first one, since people have started it accidentally, we're gonna do a separate one that one of my mods actually set up because he's the best mod ever. So
Which
the
mod's this?
That
this
one
is-
that's in the chat bet.
maybe it's not the best one ever because then the other ones will get jealous. But he's in.
Let them get jealous. They didn't make a tournament. What the hell?
You're not wrong. There's the tournament code is in the chat. So
All right.
All right.
Remember, don't show it. Turn off your screens.
Wait, show it.
I already did.
I'm already on it.
I already
Lobby's
did.
already full with my chat. What do you mean?
Nah, just invite him to Ping's Discord. They'll find it now.
All right.
So
search
it looks like it's between Kid and Clover here, obviously. But
Wow.
But
Okay, okay, dude. Hey,
But-
let's not rule out the dark horses.
wait, listen.
Are you saying we'd have a shot?
If you dox them, or not dox them, if you like break their internet
Whoa.
and they get disconnected,
Dox them.
Okay,
not
I see
dox
how it
them.
is.
Don't
I see
dox
how it
them.
is.
Don't dox them. Wrong word.
You want to do me a favor and not like give out my strategies?
Just break their internet, guys. Just break their internet, and they won't get first, second. They'll get DC'd, and that's it.
So can we click join? Just
Don't
not choose them out.
don't click it
I'm
yet.
on the vehicle
Don't click it.
select
Yet.
page. I just need to pee real quick.
Go pee. Go pee.
Right back.
Actually, I need P too. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god, I got a pee too, but I'm not gonna do it.
I gotta get water.
It's just you're gonna have to pee in the middle of the race.
Don't have any more alcohol left.
That sounds like a you problem.
It is a me problem, but I'm now
Yeah.
making it a you problem by complaining about it.
Oh, okay. I can't do
And this
anything
is an
about
online
that.
tourney, so get your lazy a butt out of your chair and get some.
Oh,
I
damn.
can't. It's like
Damn.
1:15 in the morning. I can't. So there's nowhere to go shopping.
Well,
And-
again, that sounds like a you problem.
And now it's a you problem because I'm complaining about it.
Xythius, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Right.
Yeah,
if
I
we just
know.
make-
I don't want to bring your hopes up, but like,
Alright,
try
well,
to
in
join this one
next
too. You know.
tournament,
I'm
If
on the
Zythius-
join screen whenever we're all
Awesome,
going
awesome.
if Zythius
join
can
screen too.
do this tournament, just triple his score.
Actually, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Well, I'll wait till everyone gets back. I have an announcement.
Okay, Kid, I just want to, I want to talk to you for a minute because we are like neck and neck all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just talk about it?
Let me
Can you stop?
let me
It's the question.
let me answer that. No.
Okay,
Damn.
understandable.
Shots fired.
It's like, I'll just think that over real quick. No.
So the Rocket League tournament's after this one, right?
Yeah.
I would
Wow,
actually,
spoilers.
I would
Perfect,
100% be down for that. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
Is it
for
Rocket League tournament? Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
we're
for-
gonna skip on
wait,
that.
what? Really?
it's
I
for
don't know how to Rocket League.
All right, show of hands. Show of hands for the Rocket League tournament.
I mean,
I
show
don't
of
have
hands.
the game, so.
Yeah.
I have the game on the Switch. I would need to update
Isn't
it.
Rocket League free on the Switch?
Yeah, it is free.
It is free.
It's
Yeah.
free everywhere.
I bought the
Free
game
everywhere.
when it came out. I'm so sad.
I can't afford it, man.
No, I don't have no space. I don't have no more space.
I put my hand up like you guys could actually see me, but I know full well that
No,
there's no one except
don't
me
worry,
watching the stream.
We saw.
Aw, Sag is in chat, but not his chat because no one's watching. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Violation.
I like being toxic sometimes. It's funny.
Oh my!
Oh my god!
Oh my! That hurt me.
That hurt everyone.
Okay, I'm watching him in spirit, so. I'm sorry, Fairy. I love you. You know I'm joking, right?
No.
Yeah, of course. Just so out of left field.
The best type of humor. Okay, so is everyone ready?
I am.
Yes.
Hold on, hold on.
If I am,
Hold
it's
on.
starting. Oh, I've
Okay.
been disconnected.
I am ready.
Oh no.
Don't start anything yet, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just asking if you're ready. That doesn't mean start, okay?
I was in the vehicle select screen. The countdown started, and
Don't-
then it said I DC'd.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. That's why you don't. Yeah, don't.
You don't
If we
rush
all
it.
join, it says
Being in
something
the
like
fucking
third
oh
rate.
my god, I'm gonna lose my mind.
What happened?
I apologize.
Wait, actually?
He's
What
gonna lose his
happened?
mind?
Is that what starts it?
Don't. Even
being in
press
that,
join.
I thought it was being in the globe view.
Sup, Jimmy?
That's what I thought initially, but it's just like if you pick your character, it starts it. So we're just waiting, hovering over the join screen.
I got you. Hang on, I gotta go fucking full screen.
Any
again.
mods want to make another tournament?
And so it begins.
Who wants to one up?
You know.
And so it begins.
Nah, we'll just keep this tournament. It's okay.
All right, so basically everyone will get 15 points for one race. There we go. We can do that.
Yeah, sure.
Now it's a joke.
I'll tell you guys, by the way, if you're curious, what the points look like right now. I'm adding it all up.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I don't want to know
yeah,
yet.
You don't
I
have
don't
to
know
go
yet.
to last place though. 'cause-
Okay, maybe I won't then. Maybe I won't. I'm still adding them all up.
Not until
so.
the end of the tourney. Honestly, that's more suspenseful.
Yeah, I'd rather wait till the end. I don't want to see it now because I'm just
Okay,
like,
fair
oh,
enough,
Let
fair
them
enough.
know. Put the pressure on them. Let them know.
I need to know how
Go
far
through with
away
that
from
pressure.
I don't know. I don't even know.
All right.
I
All I'm
want to
saying,
pretend I still have a chance.
all I'm saying is Bosa is literally killing it. He's ahead of the competition.
Fuck yeah. Let's go.
Let's go.
He's just killing everyone by like 100 points.
Nice.
Somebody's playing favorites. Somebody's playing favorites.
Yeah, I might have put a 1 in the
I started
100 place
with
by
100.
accident. Yeah.
We started with
favorites.
100.
A 100-point lead.
Before we start, I was thinking to make the last one double points.
Oh, do it.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That works.
Yes,
Nobody likes it.
yes.
I like that.
Awesome. Okay.
A triple point
Yeah, of course that works, Wid.
Okay. Look,
Bro,
you
I
haven't even
feel
played
so-
one
I
yet.
don't know.
In 16 races, and we're pretty much even.
Bro, I'm
Hey,
like,
you got 12th in the only race they
Like, all
played.
right, so now this round's for triple points. Everything you just did means nothing.
well, that's why I said double points.
Respect.
Well,
Triple
it's not
triple
quite.
points.
Yeah,
It
quadruple.
doesn't quite mean nothing.
Yeah, double points is not. Well, you know.
It's not ridiculous. Like
You
I
guys were
still have
warming
no
up.
chance of
you
winning.
you guys were warming up, okay? Just don't get it in your brains. You're all first place, okay? Just think about that.
We're all winners.
Wow, I have to get
We're
in.
all winners.
I think we're all winners.
Yeah.
I'm winning at being the worst.
I don't even get a participation trophy.
No participation trophies, but you're all winners, okay?
Can I win a new code?
Wait, the code is. Do you actually want to do a new one? All right.
Wait, do we have to? I don't know. Is it gonna let me back in?
You have a good point. You have a good point. Doctor, can you make a new tournament?
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh no.
Ping pong tournament number 3. That's what we see.
Oh, no.
Okay, ping pong tournament 3-3.
You're gonna be like, wait, that's 33 turns.
Put it as 3-3.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I guess we'll leave this one then.
All right, he's making it.
He said it's gonna take
Tournament.
him 20 minutes, so I'm unmodding him. Any other mods wanna? I was just joking. He said it'll take a minute.
I'm just really glad the Doctor isn't in this tournament because it would remove all suspense.
Honestly,
We're
I
not
wanted.
standing a chance.
I thought the skill level would be around the
It's a nice
same
ring
for
to it.
everyone, which it is.
That
It
was a
is.
lie.
What is everyone? That's
crazy?
Right. That's right, it is.
Bro,
You guys are just lucky.
Bosta
I only
leading
have
everything.
starting equipment. I don't have any of the fancy unlock equipment. Okay, you guys are all cheating.
Listen,
The only
everyone.
number I've
All
seen all
these
day
guys
is
using
number
the
11.
blue
bro.
Falcon and the crazy slick wheels. I'm sitting here with standard bike.
Panther and my
I
middle.
only just unlocked the biddy bug, which I'm.
I don't even have the
currently
cool
using.
colors of the
Biddy buggy.
characters. What the hell?
All right, but listen. You're getting exposure from a 10,000 viewer Andy, so you know. At least there's that, you know.
Paid and exposure, y'all. Paid
Of
and
course.
exposure.
Exactly.
His viewer count is off, so it's just assumed.
No. I have 10,000. What are you talking about? Just don't look at my stream. It
wait, you
just
say
went
you
down.
I'm
have to
already on your stream.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
have-
what you're talking about.
Thank you for the view. I need it. We're just gonna wait here. So if you guys want to go get water or snacks or whatever, you have a minute, I guess.
Oh, but when I need to pee, I'm a war criminal. Ugh.
Well, you pee for like half an hour.
I pee for half a second. I literally just did it just now, and you didn't even notice.
Yeah, you're doing it in your pants. You're sitting down. Like that's
Shut the
different.
fuck up.
Oh,
Just took his
sorry.
phone into the lower zone.
I exposed him.
Exposed.
How's
I said,
everybody's
I'm
weekend
just
going?
I'm just
Go.
sat at the
Fantastic.
stream doing some
Amazing.
magic tricks.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Anything
Guys.
fun?
Oh.
Oh, what? What's up?
Well, we're doing this. This
Yeah.
is fun.
I was gonna
This
say
is
do some
fun.
hand exercises. You know.
I got
Oh,
you.
true,
Where's
true.
where's my pen?
Flex those fingies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird to say.
I
but
actually
okay.
do warm up my arms before speedruns.
I'm using motion
And-
control, so I do need to warm up my arms.
And I don't
Who's
think it helps
using
you
motion
guys,
controls?
but
Never.
the new code is in chat, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yes.
Oh, I just relaxed and I gotta get up. Oh.
No one press join.
I'm just gonna hover over the title. I'm not even gonna have the where it says view standings
So-
and join.
We're supposed
Okay.
to we're supposed to
Join
join now, right?
No! Stop! Stop! Don't even troll, bro. Someone's gonna believe it. Someone's gonna unmute at that second or deafen and be like, "Oh,
damn,
Wait,
damn, people are trolling the host,
did
man.
we-
Now I'm scared
wait,
to
did we
host
say
my
it?
own.
Wait, what?
Wait, I
Are we
heard
doing-
joy.
no, stop! No, stop!"
You see what I mean? The trolls.
It's on the vehicle select screen. I got it.
Yeah, see, like I don't have any of these fancy carts you guys have. Like all mine are just
Fucking
standard.
with you.
Well,
Don't
I-
fuck with me because I could trick other people. All right,
You
No,
probably
we're
get
good.
worse
I'm
stuff.
sitting on it. We're good.
I really
Okay.
gotta pee too, and I'm holding this in for you guys.
Oh, pee.
No, I'm holding it in.
You're a dumb man.
Respect, respect.
Respect.
8 races of pee. You're about to hold in.
R-E-S-P-E-K. Respect.
All right. Is everyone hovering over join?
Yep.
Yeah, we hovering.
Yep.
Hover gang, where you at?
Yep.
Hover gang.
Hover gang.
Yo, I actually got that. I have that app. Yeah. If you want to
Well, I've
grow on
actually hovered
Twitch.
over yes because if I enter the code, it takes me to the you know. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Follow me on hover.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, is everyone
That's
everyone
self-promotion.
who's
All right.
not ready?
The Discord is really psyching me out because it keeps saying Jared is typing, but nothing is coming up.
Same here. Looks like Jared's been typing a novel this entire time.
Just like when he's with girls. And
Wait, what?
Nothing's coming out. Oh, sorry. Okay, he couldn't hear me. Anyway, does everyone has everyone supposed to stop typing? You're just everyone's ready? Who's not ready?
So ready.
Currently
Alright.
ready.
All right, I'm gonna assume every single person in this lobby is ready. 3, 2, 1, boom! Start it up, baby.
Boom, bang. Bing,
Joining.
bong.
Bim, bam, boom.
No, that's Boom Bap.
All right,
He's
pick
actually
Toad.
doing
Pick
it.
Toad. We're going Toad.
Go
All
whatever
right,
you're.
good luck, everyone.
I hope
Good luck.
Zythus
Good luck.
is
Good luck,
here.
everyone.
Bro. I really hope, man.
Good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
Bro.
All
God
right.
damn
I really
it.
hope, man.
Just all the typing. God damn it. Just all the
Okay.
typing.
I'm gonna watch him for a bit. I really hope it works. I just like he gets disconnected in the middle of the tournament. It looks like most people are in. I don't know what's happening with Fairy over there.
7,
What's
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fuck yes. Okay,
Yeah, it looks like he's
Sherberland.
good.
Clearly the best of the
I don't
three.
think he realizes that his face
Fools.
is. His face.
Do they think they're doing?
Fairy, your face is. We only see your face. Just wanted to let you know. I don't know if you could hear me. All right. Anyway, let's go back to the tournament. Yeah, thanks for the follow. Yeah, sorry for the late response. I'm just trying to get. I don't want to interrupt. How you doing, Werewolf? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm happy you're enjoying the YouTube videos, Werewolf. And how you doing, Sergeant Valor? All right, let's see. This is the last tournament for double points. I actually tallied up the first 2 tournaments, and it's looking pretty actually kind of close. See, Clover did really well in the second tournament, but not that well on the first one. Kind of. So we'll see how it goes. The first tournament was really close, and then I think people got self-conscious or something. I don't know. Let's start with Wheeze here. Wheeze is in 7th place here. Oh, screwing up that jump, but that's fine. Still the first lap of the first round. Slowly but surely looking like he's making his way up. Not making his way downtown.
Really?
And he said really because he got hit there. That sucks. Let's see Xavier. He was playing pretty well. He has either like really good rounds or like rounds, it feels like. Now he can't really do much with the banana. Let's see what else he gets here. And I think he's around 5th place. He gets a coin? Maybe he's in 1st place? Hard to tell because his cam is covering. It does look like he's in 1st place, actually. The map looks like, yeah, he is in 1st place. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if anyone's trailing really close behind him. We see Wheeze is in 11th place, unfortunately. Jimmy in 4th. 2nd place is Clover. Or actually, Sammy.
Alright,
Sammy.
Good start.
Sammy takes 1st
They're
place
trying to
here.
hit me. It's not good.
Sammy always having a great attitude.
Stay right over there, please. I don't want any.
Looks
I
like he's
don't
kinda
want
scared.
any transgression.
Let's see if Zythius is playing, which is awesome. Hopefully he doesn't get disconnected at all. He's currently in 6th place.
Jump.
Not doing insanely bad, but as long as he's able to play, I think that's a win. Let's go back to, let's actually go to Heroes, see how Heroes is doing. Heroes is in 3rd. Xavier making a name for himself in 2nd place on the 3rd lap. Final lap. Looks like he will get 2nd with Sammy in 1st. And that seems to be true.
Not bad, not bad. 3rd place.
Let's see what Sammy's thinking with that 1st place win.
It's fine. You know what? Okay, that was good. That was good.
All right, he says that's good.
There's no way.
I managed to actually cross the line.
Bosa
while being
in.
11, so
Bosa in.
Just like last time. What do you mean? No, it's the warm up. It's the warm up. Stop, chat. Stop. Listen.
He's he's telling his chat it was just the warm up. But
We were lagging the whole. We were lagging.
Ping got last.
what happened?
A ping got last.
Oh yeah, I did get last. I always get last. Oh, Jimmy. What happened with Jimmy?
Nothing's happened with Jimmy?
Oh, he's just putting music on.
Guys.
Bro, Jimmy tricked me. Wait,
Hold
is
on,
he still
guys.
in it?
We're gonna watch this.
Is Jimmy not playing? What is he doing?
That wasn't it. This was it.
He's putting some music on, I guess. I don't know what's going on there. Did he get DC'd? Anyone know if Jimmy got DC'd?
Say what?
How many?
Still in the game.
Oh, I don't know. He's like watching a video on stream. Whatever. I don't care. Enjoy, guys. He's just watching the video.
Looks like it.
I don't know. He's like watching a video on stream. Whatever. I don't care.
I don't know
Enjoy.
what's happening.
Semi 15 Xavier.
He's just
We got
watching
Jared
the
with
video.
8 points.
Looks
Not
like it.
bad.
Just
Let's see
keep
how he
it
does
up.
in the second race here. Remember, this last
mean, I
batch
feel
of
that.
8 races is worth double the points, so it's kind of anyone's game.
Deep inside of my soul, I fucking feel it. Yeah. Hey! What? Wait, what? Hey, what? I won't lie, I missed whatever was said. Dude, my attention span is so bad right now. Like,
just like every streamer's attention span. Terrible. We see Wheeze in 5th place here. Falling a bit behind, but might make a... Oh, it hits the grass there. That's going to hurt. Let's look at Boom. We haven't seen Boom's gameplay in a while. Boom just getting hit. Marsh mushrooming into 9th place here. Getting some coins. 6th place, not bad. Behind Jared and Zythius, who I'm glad to see on the track. He was getting disconnected, unfortunately. I'm sure he's feeling good just to be playing. He's in 5th place. He also helped me find some people. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. And I made him laugh, so so yeah. We're in the... Ooh, he gets hit there and gets passed by 4 or 5 players. Let's concentrate on some people we haven't looked at in a while. Let's look at Lux over here. Lux in 7th place and just screwing up that... and trying to take out the blue shell for some reason. Wow. Everyone is neck and neck here.
Savior.
Everyone's going crazy for the last match. Makes sense. Fair enough.
Oh, bro. Come on.
He keeps getting hit.
And then we're just having swarm.
He hits Nuff. All right, let's see how Clover is doing here. Clover in 2nd, right behind... Oh, I thought I saw Jared for a second. I was like, what? Right behind Heroes. Passing Heroes. Not too much of a surprise. But, you know, anything can happen. It's still a race. They're just neck and neck. The blue shell's gonna hit Heroes, though. It's gonna put the rest of the players... Ooh, Xavier just coming back in this tournament. Let's see if he's able to take advantage of all of this and get to 1st. He's really close. Huh.
Oh, who stole my... Oh.
That's unlucky on the last lap as well. The luck couldn't get worse.
Yo, twice!
Let's look at Fairy. How Fairy was doing top 5, top 3. Even got 1st place a lot of times earlier on in the tournament. But oh, he gets red shelled over the water, putting him in 12th place. Bosa must feel good about that. Bosa is...
Okay, whoever Bowser was just got cocked.
Bosa's quiet.
Oh, wait, never
Kinda
mind. I did.
surprising.
Never mind. I thought... Oh, my God.
Yeah, he did.
That's
I experienced a full
kind of
range
funny.
of places in that.
Now, let's see what everyone's saying here.
11.
Damn. That's good. That's diverse.
I thought, you know what? I really want to see the thing from the whole position.
You know what
I
I'm
might not
happy
go away
about?
first.
I'm happy Zythius is here, baby. He didn't DC.
I was happy he was here, and then he hit me with a fucking piranha plant, and I wished he would DC.
Well, we got a couple of races left to still do that. So
true.
Stop! Don't fucking.
Bro, the exact same thing.
And then it'll be
as soon as he hit
all
me with
on
the piranha, I
you.
was like, he could fucking DC again. I don't care. Like,
I just felt so bad for him. The first 2 tournaments, he wasn't able to play much, you know?
Mario Kart really brings out the worst in those.
That is true. So true.
We're not playing Monopoly, so it
just
could be
brings
worse.
out the real me.
All right, let's look at some players here at their rankings here.
It was the Shadow one. Oh,
Sammy
it
and
was a sequel.
Clover are tied.
No, it was the trilogy.
I think Heroes is in 1st with 24 points, and the other 2 are tied at 22. So this is actually quite a close one. And remember, all points are doubled, so it's pretty much anyone's games here. Let's see how Jimmy's feeling here.
Inner confidence, yeah. I will do. This is that was the sandbag trick, guys. That was a purposeful sandbag. We got confidence. I totally meant that.
And
I totally meant to miss that. Don't overdrift on this map. That's it. Okay.
Playing totally correct, I guess. I don't know. He's doing what he wants to do here. Let's look at Boom over here. We haven't looked at Boom in a while. See how Boom is doing here. 12th place. Ah, that's gotta hurt. But his concentration is real, and you gotta commend the man for just putting his total concentration on the game. I could see him coming back in a future... Oh, almost fell. Oh! In a future tournament here and, like, demolishing just by, you know, getting the experience from this
such
tournament.
a troll pick, dude.
Let's look at Fairy here and see how he's doing. Fairy in 7th place, not doing too well. Wheeze slightly above him.
Breakthrough.
Fifth
Oh,
place.
smooth.
Oh, that's not fair. That's Trisket. I'm done.
Too smooth with it.
Gotta love Trisket's way with words. See Sammy. Sammy's probably pretty high up there.
Let me know, cause I want to get some modded Smash so I can play as Roxas in
Looks like Sammy wants to smash. He's in 4th place, doing pretty decent. 4th place, but he's not in top 3, which he tends to be quite often. Looks like Xavier is doing quite well. Looks like he's actually maybe in 4th, actually, but the 1st place seems to be Clover. He's just consistently bringing results to this tournament, even if his screen is so small. Just like my penis. Just total concentration. I don't even think he's thinking about anything else here.
Are you kidding me? I threw. Are you kidding me?
No, Red Shell hits him. Oh my God! 2 people pass him. Sammy and
Okay, third is not bad.
Hero.
Oh my God!
Let's see what Sammy let's see what Hero has to say about that. Getting 1st place here. Pretty quiet. Probably recognizes his luck in that moment. Sammy has 34 points. Clover 32.
That's payback, Clover. That is payback right there.
Oh, there you go.
You got.
Yeah, when you see me typing at the bottom, I'm just slowly adding all you guys to my list.
So he hasn't talked in the Discord, but he is saying that was payback to Clover.
Normally, I'm right up in there after a race, hop right in, say exactly how I thought that went, but I
Guys,
unmuted.
I just want to
Sat there
let you
for a
guys
second.
know. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I unmuted. I sat there for a second. And I thought, I have no words to express my disappointment in myself.
Guys, the first tournament, the first set of races, everyone was much closer. So, you guys got this. Don't feel like you're so far behind.
Well, when we started,
I didn't feel like that until you said it. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, son.
when we started, for me it was midnight. It is now 20 to 2 in the morning.
British people and their excuses. I'm just joking. I love you, Fairy. Damn,
We got this.
Being so mean.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. All right. For those wondering, this is how it looks so far. Xavier, this is only from the first race, I think. It didn't update for all of them yet. But Xavier was pretty much in the lead with Sammy and Clover behind him and Kid 4th. So they're really neck and neck, those 4. And you got Peach, which is Jimmy, 5th, playing really well, and Jared and Lux being pretty close to each other. We're not going to talk about Fairy. All right, let's get back into the action and see how everyone is doing here. Now it's 22-2. Yeah, Fairy, we know what you're doing. Is that what he said? Oh, 12th place for Wheeze. I don't even want to go to his screen. I just feel bad at this point. Let's go to Boom, see how Boom's doing. In 4th place, pretty close to the top 3 contenders, which are arguably... Oh, Fairy has some really good races. Fairy and Xavier kind of alternate with really... Oh, he gets hit with the blue shell, though. That's unfortunate. But he gets that little boost from Fairy, we just mentioned, actually.
Bro, what?
Let's see how Jimmy is taking all this.
What's your favorite new Trackhawks hero? Do you have a favorite one? If you tried them, I'm gonna be playing them with viewers actually after this tournament. I think. When you want to hop in, I'd love to play some things with you.
Damn, he's self-promoting. I respect it.
All right, guys, come back.
This is actually the last lap. This is a close one. Let's look at Sammy here. Sammy.
What am I talking about?
Let's look at Heroes. Heroes has been playing really good. He's in 2nd place, which means Clover is definitely in 1st. We don't need to go to him. He's very... ooh. This might change things. 2 red shells to Clover. Whoa, and he takes the lead with a red shell and a mushroom. Peachy coming out of nowhere to take it! Whoa!
Oh my God! Finally!
Jimmy gets
Oh my God,
first!
guys!
Wow, let's hear what everyone has to say about that.
Gliding part of every map to be hit by a red shell and drop 5 places.
Jimmy just killed that.
Hell.
Thank you.
Bro, you just got first. You just passed by the competition last second. Nice.
Thank you.
Shit.
That race cemented it. I'm not having fun anymore. That was fun.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was dog shit. I went from like fucking 5th to 11th. I want to cry.
Yo, whose dumbass idea was Mario Kart?
It wasn't.
God.
It wasn't mine. Anyway, I thought this was Rocket League. I actually loaded up the wrong game by accident.
That's the only reason I accepted. I thought it was too.
Bro, you should host a Rocket League and then have me join so I can embarrass myself.
Dude, funny as hell.
Seriously, I think in the last in all the races in this tournament so far, in the last if I'm doing well at all, in the last gliding section, I'll be hit with a red shell and fall to my death.
It happens. Man.
Damn.
It happens.
Getting Mario Karted.
You're getting Mario.
But it's like
Yeah, I got a bone to pick
it's
with
happened.
Jimmy after that race, though. That's all I'm saying.
It's happened.
Okay, sorry.
Everyone hates Jimmy. Aw, it just got silent. I feel bad now.
I mean,
Everyone
what are we
loves-
supposed to add? You spat facts.
I guess he
Fucking
agrees. He
agree with
didn't
you.
say anything. All right. Good luck. I don't know what the hell this song is. I'm gonna put some other music here. Yo, this song is goddamn sexy. This song's so good, it pumps me up. Let's look at how Heroes is doing. 3rd place here. Danny in 2nd. We don't see that too often. Let's look at Boom over here. Boom in 3rd now. Boom is Danny for those that are wondering. I think. Pretty sure. Boom is really, really close to them. I wonder where Clover is. Clover is falling behind here, at least 4th place or behind. We got Xavier. Oh, Boom just crashing there. And gets hit by the boomerang. And gets passed by 3 players here. Damn. Just everyone is just demolishing him. Let's see how Zytheus is doing here. He keeps getting
green shell.
Keeps getting
Is that
hit.
what's green shell? Is that what's green shell?
This game indeed brings out the worst in everyone. Speaking of, let's see how Trisket is doing.
I hate tournaments if I'm streaming. This is terrible.
Fair enough. Falling behind.
This is just stress. Oh, god damn you. God
It
damn
is
you.
stress. And I'm the one commentating. Look how Bosa's
Give me
doing.
the fucking meme builds. I'm just saying, Sora. Fuck me.
11th place here. We haven't seen Clover much this race. He's in 7th, falling really behind. This race might actually lead to his demise, to be honest. He might not
I did
do
it
too
again!
well because of this. We saw Xavier fighting for 1st earlier. Let's see how he's doing now. Looks like he's still fighting for 1st, right behind Heroes, who is an absolute god, and who I should have vetted more strictly before letting him join the tournament. Oh, he falls over the water. Look at his face. Damn, that sucks.
I did too
Jimmy
early
takes
because the fucking the what do you call it, the plane, whatever you call. I fucked up.
He did fuck up.
Let's go. We got 2nd place, everyone. Hype.
Second
All right,
place
that was good.
is
That was
hype.
good. That was good. We got 2nd place. Let's go.
That is hype. Peachy / Jimmy did really well there. Let's see what people are talking about.
Kilometers an hour. I'm not gonna lie.
What cart are you using?
What sort? Say that again.
What cart are you actually using?
Okay, I asked chat what to pick. Okay.
Oh dear.
Because I
That
don't
was
know
a
anything
mistake.
about this game.
Oh
I
no.
picked the Comet. I have the Comet cart. I'm using Toad, and I have standard wheels.
You know what?
I
You know
mean-
nothing about this game, but you still joined, and I appreciate it. The tournament.
Respect.
God help me.
Respect.
Respect.
I respect.
Respect in chat. Damn.
F's in chat.
F's in chat. F's in chat for half the play. I mean, everyone is enjoying and having an amazing time. No F's in chat, right?
Woo! Such a good time. I'm not crying into my fries. What? It's like-
Sounds like you are.
what
Good
stream
luck.
are you watching?
Yeah, I'm watching all of them. I'm actually gonna zoom into one right now. Yeah.
Ping, I'm watching yours in spirit.
Thanks. I appreciate
No
it.
problem. No problem. No problem.
Let's see. I'm kind of curious what Lux is feeling about this. Lux was kind of tired. It's pretty late. He's in Scotland. You know, let's see if
Tight
he's
with
just...
the others, but beefed.
Yeah. I'm tied with 3 others, but that's
No,
all.
I'm just getting fucking wasted in these.
Yeah.
Here we go. It hits different this time.
Damn, he's sounding kind of sad. I kind of feel bad. Let's look at Wheeze over here. He has a more upbeat outlook. He's just concentrating completely on the game. That's respect. As Wheeze is wheezing by. We're gonna check out Boom over here. Boom is in 6th, but he has a green shell. So that might help. I don't know. Very quiet as well. Just total concentration.
I usually go high there, but I don't know. It tends to always do worse.
Whoa, Zytheus in 1st, learning from his mistakes, saying that usually goes high, but it tends to do worse. So he's trying to like improve on his gameplay for next time. Respectable. We got
I've been
Jimmy.
using my mushrooms on
Jimmy and
not
Fairy.
like sharp turns. I've just been using them straightaways because I'm so far behind. Probably
passing him by.
Thank you so much for the donation, whoever that was. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Means a lot. Probably Gamer just donating a bit, as he usually does. But if it was anyone else, then thanks.
Gamer trolls him a lot. Jimmy in 1st, playing a lot better this last set of races for the tournament. Having that banana.
I gotta look out for a blue shell. That's what's gonna get me.
There's still 1 race left, so let's see how Clover is doing. Clover has not been doing as well with this last set of races. In 10th place! That must not feel too hot. That's the thing, the pressure, getting hit by a red shell too. The pressure just gets to you, you know? It's a tournament. Even if you're a really good player, or like, you know, a decent player, the pressure just gets to you, you know? We're all human. But it seems like the pressure does not get to Heroes. Let's see how Heroes is doing. In 6th! Wow! What a change of pace here. Struggling to keep up.
There can be only one.
But but still having some confidence here. With Danny playing really well lately. Sometimes it just takes some time to warm up, you know? This is Danny, by the way. Boom. Boom is in 2nd place. Right behind Sammy, who overtook Jimmy, it seems like. Let's see how Sammy's doing, what he's thinking, what he's saying.
Where am I going with this?
He's just quiet. Oh, but he's doing well. He's
This
actually
feels nice.
he's doing really well.
I'm
It is
waiting
nice.
for it to end.
No confidence. Everyone is so... well, I mean, it's
Hey,
stressful.
it didn't end. Wait, don't jinx it.
You gotta remember, this is the first tournament that a lot of these people are competing in, so... You know, that's what's gonna happen here. Hey, it looks like the tournament did finish.
I hate this map. Me and Jimmy, first and second.
Sammy in
Then
1st.
Jimmy got blue shells and it all went downhill from there.
Bosa in last.
It was going so well. It was going so well into.
Bosa, you played really well there.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah.
That was good.
I saw the last second when you got the rocket, but you were in 12th.
Yeah, man. That's my strategy. Go last and get the bullet bill.
It's a smart strategy, man.
It's been working out.
Good luck on the next race. Sounds like the excitement is
These are all
high.
bad choices. It's like I was just so happy to be like, it was the second lap. It was the final lap. I was still in 2nd, just behind Jimmy, and then I just dropped so quickly after Jimmy got blue shelled.
And I dropped very quickly
it's
after
nothing
that.
personal. It's just because you deserve it.
Yo, Widweez, bro, I'm just saying, why you whipping green shells backwards when you're in 2nd to last place? That's the only thing I want to know.
I don't know. I don't know how to play this
Unreal.
game.
Just toxic.
But you know what?
Holy shit.
You're still playing, so I respect that. Respect.
Thank you.
All right, let's mute here. As you guys can tell, as you guys could probably tell, I've picked the best players. They're all around the same rank. This tournament is going amazingly, and I hope you guys are enjoying. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the YouTube video. For the Twitch, I just hope you're enjoying. All right. Who do we look at first here? I feel like we haven't put that much on Lux. Let's see how Lux is doing. Lux is in 11th place. Just
fucking game's garbage.
just being a little sad, which is fair enough. Let's see how Bosa is doing here. Bosa in 4th, actually playing pretty well. You could tell.
Okay. Okay, dude. That was a cat. Oh, shooting me!
Lux
Stream
shot him.
snipers! They're stream sniping!
Oh, that's great.
Oh, man!
Oh, that's not great. He has a big cough because he's feeling sick, and he's still made it to the tournament. Respect to everyone who came, honestly. I really appreciate it.
There we go. Do that.
He's in 8th place here.
Incredible.
Making some headway here to the top
Gotta shave
players
off
here.
his-
The last lap. Let's go to Xavier, see how he's doing. Starting it up. There's total concentration to get that top 3, it looks like. Looks like Clover has been struggling these past 4 or 5 races. Ooh, he gets passed by Sammy. Oh, Clover's actually ahead of him. Clover and Sammy both being ahead of him. Quite a competition. Fairy, it looks like, just passing him by right there. Some really good gameplay. Let's zoom into Heroes right here.
I couldn't help it. But winning first place in Mumu Metal is just a huge win for me. I had to.
Yeah, I think
Seriously,
he's demolishing the competition here. Let's see.
And every time they throw that boomerang,
Baby Park,
it
we need
hits
chaos.
either me or someone else, but mostly me.
Guys, the pain is almost over. I commend
not
you thus
pain.
far.
That's
I
a
say
good
we-
pain.
I said we
I
vote
wanna
on Baby
recount.
Park for pain.
My
Baby
ego
Park?
is just like actually shattered on the floor.
I want to recount.
I want to recount.
Yeah, true. You
I-
cheated.
I didn't even
Cheated.
count up the scores yet. I mean,
You
who
guys,
knows what happens?
So you guys want to continue playing Mario Kart after this, but not Pink's tournament.
I'll try to hold a tournament that's
Oh,
more
no.
balanced in the future.
I swear to God, if it comes out of Wario Stadium, I'm just getting up and leaving.
I don't think I'm ever playing Mario Kart again.
Fucking forfeit. What a loser.
Yo, Ping, next
Oh,
time
no,
do a
not
Smash
forfeit.
tournament, bro.
Yo, Smash would
Just
be really
leave it.
fun, yeah. I suck at Smash, but I would play. Because I like smashing.
I haven't
Same,
played
that'd be
the Smash Brothers on the Switch. I think I played it once on the Wii a decade ago.
You should join the tournament, though.
There's a Smash tournament?
No, I don't know. Alright, bye-bye. Good luck. Final race. Alright,
Alyssa.
bye-bye. Final remarks from some of the players. I think Wheeze was growling. Say what Clover is doing here. Clover is just silent. I think after losing a couple of races and not getting first, he's been kind of quieter. And Heroes has kind of taken the lead.
Alright, I want some clean racing.
Sammy's just in a good mood. Sammy always with that good mood there. We have Heroes in first, looking behind him, using that strat to look behind, which not everyone does. I mean, it's an important thing to do. He has a red shell and coin, which makes sense. He is in first place after all. Pretty far ahead of the competition. Probably, actually pretty close. Let's look at Boom over here. Boom consistently getting to the top 3, I feel like. But then just choking towards the end of each race, which is pretty, it's a shame, he's a good player. We see him in top 5 right here, actually. So let's go see how Jimmy is doing.
Fantastic. So, anyone else want to hit me? Anyone else want to hit me while they're at it?
Note to self: make Mario Kart tournaments shorter next time, because people get really triggered and mad.
I'm in so much pain. Y'all have no idea. Emotionally, Mario Kart just, oh my God.
There you go.
Every fucking time I have a little bit of good luck, it just absolutely dicks me.
Trisket doesn't seem to be doing that. Huh? Bosa, look at Bosa's face. Oh!
There's no fucking way,
that
dude.
that has to hurt. That has to hurt. Let's look at Zythius here. In 3rd place, actually playing really well. 2nd place, but getting hit there.
You don't love that timing.
All
right, but we're in the thick of it.
Yeah, you are in the thick of it. I wish
Sorry,
Zythius was able to play the previous rounds of the tournament, but he just got DC'd, unfortunately. This is the first full tournament that he's able to play, or the first, the 3rd part of the tournament, and he's playing pretty well.
And we hit the guy. That's what we wanted.
We got Lux ahead. We gotta hear what Lux is thinking about being in top 3 right here.
Yeah, we'll just send ourselves right into the wall. Yeah, we'll drift right here.
Gotta remember, he's very
Oh,
tired.
boost.
Sammy in second. Heroes
Got a green
probably.
shield, probably hold on to that. Oh, no, bro.
Oh, gets hit by the bomb. You have a star to
And
Jared
passes back
passing
into,
him.
like,
Let's
last
see what
place.
Jared is thinking here. Getting 4th place.
Fuck off, Nuff! Damn it! I wanted 3rd place again.
Fairy passing him. Let's see what.
I wanted 3rd place again.
We got Sammy in second. And
GG's.
At some point during that race,
you know,
I just lost all anger.
Yeah.
And just
The last race got me the most heated.
What's up, guys? How's everyone feeling?
Over. I didn't have sound for the last 4 races, so that was
Jimmy,
interesting.
what?
How's everyone feeling after that?
Feeling great. Ping.
It'll be close. It'll be close for sure.
I pumped
feeling upset,
into
Bill.
I pumped into
Kid,
every single
sorry.
person's stream, and every single person, except like 2 or 3, were like depressed or just like like.
Oh, congrats, kid. I know
Like-
kid got this.
Like thinking about their Mario Kart skills, like I thought it was so good. What happened? Like,
All right, earlier today,
Oh.
I was practicing in global lobbies and getting 1st and 2nds across the board. And I was like, all right, this is it. I'm great. I'm so ready. And today, I've achieved 6th, 7th, and 7th.
well,
That's pretty much the beauty of Mario Kart, folks.
I'm gonna add up all the scores.
1st, 2nd,
I
and
think
1st, with
I'm-
the last one in a double points one being their highest score yet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I probably kid. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have added you to this tournament. I didn't realize you were so good.
This is absurd.
It is too cracked.
Yeah, kid just kind of.
Kid
basically
Give them
Mario
$70
Kart once a
You have to
week.
stage
He's
a whole
really
fucking
good.
Tournament.
I was looking at everyone's skill level and like from how you guys were playing global and stuff, and it looked okay, but Kid didn't have anything up. And then he like, and then I looked at it like, cause I think he streamed like late yesterday or something, and it looked fine. I don't know.
Well, mostly
Wait,
because
I want to hear. What are the skill rankings? I'm 6,800.
I'm 2,000.
okay, the last I checked, like the
I don't even have a skill
worldwide.
level, dude.
Me too.
Are we talking about the VR points? Are we talking about the VR
I've
points?
never played this
Let's talk
game
about the
before.
leaderboard points. Like the
Okay,
points.
so a
like,
bunch of fucking DNFs on a qualifier round. That is saying a lot. And then we have, what was yours last you checked?
What? Who's?
mine's 2,000.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
I checked.
I'm sorry. What was that?
What was yours last time you checked?
Oh, when we finished the race, I ended off with 89 points.
No, I mean your like online score, like the thousands score, whatever that is.
The VR score, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I should be like around 12,000.
Damn, I'm 7,000.
Bro, guys, that's numbers aren't everything, okay?
I know, right?
Exactly.
I don't think
when
I have a
there's 5
number.
of them,
So
Ping, they become relevant.
All right,
Numbers aren't
listen,
everything.
I
We-
fucked up, okay? I fucked up, but I hope you guys enjoy it, okay? Like, come on.
You did.
Honestly, it
very
was
well.
a hell of fun participating in.
Well,
this,
yeah,
and-
for you it was very fun, obviously, but like,
Very, very, very fun. I threw on Wildwoods as soon as I dropped my.
Believe me,
banana,
I am
was like,
nowhere. Trust me when I tell you this. I am nowhere near the level of any other top of a Mario Kart player. Like,
Oh, yeah,
biggest example, Bear. Like you already know it. It can kick all of our asses. Like I am
Is that-
nowhere near that level because I'm a Rosa main. Seriously.
but
and I hate Waluigi. So
I'm
there's
not
that.
gonna
Speak for
lie.
yourself. I kind of dominated.
Yeah,
Like,
Lux,
what
I was
words just
watching
came out of
you.
his mouth.
You were dominating hard.
And that speed demon on the track, you know.
Thank
True.
you. I tried. I tried.
I was talking about myself. Hey, what are you saying thank you for? You see my score, man?
Hey,
Sit
you're the
down.
one who said it, not me.
Sit down.
Oh, wow.
Adding all the scores here.
Full range of emotion
Oh, man.
playing this.
Damn, I feel so bad. I feel like half of the
Like,
people
I've
here are
gone from
depressed.
the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
No,
Okay,
honestly, I would say the toughest racer was probably Clover as well. Like, during the second Grand Prix, he like stepped up.
I'll take that. Let's go.
You mean the one that you came second in?
Yeah, for the second Grand Prix. For the second
Sup?
Grand Prix, like he was honestly like right on top of me.
The third one I threw on Wildwoods, and then it all just went downhill.
Bro, Clover, you were doing so. You were the top of the second tournament, and the third tournament, I guess the nerves got to you. I don't know.
I straight up I threw out Wildwoods, and then I lost the second one, and then I just kind of became depressed.
You could double my score, and I'd still be behind Kid.
That's pretty bad.
If you triple my score, I'm behind, Kid. What does that say?
Oh, yeah, I gotta double up. Oh God. I mean, this is very close.
That Kid who
Sure.
scored the highest this round than in any other Grand Prix.
Bro.
Honestly, this will come back for me.
If I'm not dead last, I will be shocked.
You might not be. Well,
What if you don't double Kid's score and then just double the rest of us? Be more fair.
I could do that.
I wonder if I would be interested to see if Kid would still be first.
You know what? If Kid agrees to it, I could do that.
No, don't. It's not fair. Kid did well. Kid won. Kid deserves the first.
Hey,
prize.
Kid might have not won. We don't know that.
Hey, can everybody put your Twitch chat or your Twitch link in the tournament thing so I can paste it on my chat so my chat can go follow?
Sure.
Sure. Thank you.
What
Thanks.
leader
See you,
link you
Les.
want?
Very nice.
I'd do
of
the
you.
same for all my followers and viewers if I had followers.
Well, I need a
Yeah,
calculator.
One person.
I need a calculator for everyone except Bosa because he sucked ass.
Where do I drop this? Is there
I
a
was just
tournament
joking.
text channel?
Yes.
Yeah.
You pasted in it. You've chatted in it before.
I can't find it now. Oh wait, there it is.
I deleted you from. Oh, I added you.
Oh,
again.
You're mean.
Yeah. 'Cause I told you to throw and you weren't. Well, I guess you were, but never mind.
So hard. My fucking back out, Pong. Watch your mouth.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Didn't throw.
I
hard.
really
threw
hope.
it back.
For those that aren't talking, like you don't need to talk, obviously, but I hope you guys enjoyed. This is.
I had a good time.
Yeah, sorry.
a great
yeah,
time.
it was a.
I didn't
from what
want
I
to
could
boost
play,
my
I had a
winnings
good
too
time.
much.
Yeah.
Scott.
Like this.
Honestly, this was probably I pretty much had a blast playing through this, and even more, I was more than happy to stream for Heroes, my esports group.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also have to vet people better next time.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
But this was the first tournament I ever hosted. So
all jokes aside,
Next time I
about,
definitely
like,
get my girlfriend to play for me, I swear.
okay.
all jokes aside,
I
of
just
the
think
pressure
Joy-Cons.
and anger, this was actually really fun.
Yeah, this was a blast, Pong. All
Yeah,
my
it was really good.
bitching all the
Yeah,
time
this was
is
really
that-
fun.
I would
You
honestly
did a great job,
love,
Pong.
love to join this again.
Can we get a round of applause?
Aw,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks for pitying me, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go, Pong.
All right, the scores are almost in, and I gotta say, well, I'm not gonna say it, but
Kid.
it's not looking too hot.
Enjoyed the
close.
$70, kid. GG's.
Thanks. I honestly was not expecting to make it as far as I did, but I'm glad I did. I did it.
What did you
Nice.
think we'd be better? Did we disappoint you, kid?
Wow. Okay. Just put words in my mouth. Why don't you?
Okay, do you guys want to hear it for every tournament section or just the overall?
Yeah,
Just overall.
overall.
Just overall.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Overall.
The tournament section, we can just look at we can just go on the game and look.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not. Well, okay. First
Go
is
for the
Kid,
bottom.
unsurprisingly.
No, go from the bottom.
I mean, no.
What?
Wait, we're not sure yet. We're not sure yet.
I didn't hear anything.
I mean,
Oh my god.
I fucked up.
Leaked.
No. I read it wrong. Wait, give me a second. I read it wrong.
Clover first, let's go.
Oh man, I read it wrong. Let me just go on your chat. Well, actually, I don't need to. Because you don't have a
you
face
screen-
cam, so.
I hope you screenshotted these.
Yeah, I have all of them.
I did.
Okay.
So, with 24 points coming in last is Zyth.
Oh, I'm gonna follow.
But you have to remember,
Zyth.
Zythius.
Let's go live. Let's go live.
You gotta remember, Zythius was Zytheus.
Let's go, Zyth.
Let me mute everyone. Well, not mute everyone, but Zytheus was he wasn't able to play the first 2 parts of the tournament. He was only able to play the last
Excuses.
one.
That's on me.
Zyth did amazing. Good job, Zyth.
He had 24, so let's clap for Zyth.
You guys were
Hey,
great at
congrats,
hitting
buddy.
me
You'll
at
do
the.
better next time.
You guys were great at hitting me at the finish line. lot of green shells right before.
Unreal.
Whenever you are at the finish line, you just start spamming everything that you have at your inventory.
Zyth came last in the only tournament they were in.
Damn.
Who's the dry bones who stopped because you don't get hit by the blue shell, but then it still hit you?
That was fun.
All right, second with almost 100 points. Okay, but consistently bad, so that's pretty cool. Is Lil Luxio? Let's go.
Wait, that must be wrong. I swear I won it.
Lil Luxio, let's go. You had
recount?
You had a 93. Yeah, I'll recount.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, you actually had a 70. I actually counted wrong.
Let's go. Wait, I can't put it.
I was just joking. You had 93. You had 93.
Oh, I was about to say no.
that would
Can we
suck.
get a recount part 3, please?
Yeah, and you guys could go on my stream if you want. I'm just gonna shout out everyone's stream as I'm going through them. If you would want to check out a certain person, you don't have to if you don't want to, obviously. But
it's just content.
Nah, you don't have to. Okay, so that's Lux. In third to last, we got. Oh, I almost said the wrong person. In third to last, we got. Ooh, the bald man, Bosa. Ooh.
From third to last, why didn't you just say 10th?
Word on left. Because let's go. He's looking at Lux's streams, but yeah.
I'm looking at your stream.
Oh, it's like
about to loop.
Inception, bro. It confused me.
It's about to loop.
I swear to God, it confused me. Good job, bro. You made top 10, so that's something to be proud of, I guess. I don't know.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm gonna keep letting it loop. Fuck it.
Bro, am I just gonna be on everyone's stream for the rest of this, or what?
You are. You're just a good-looking guy.
You're gonna be an all.
I could have held up a signs fucking sub to me or something.
With only 2 points more, okay? Only 2 points more. We have Wheeze.
Yep. Yeah. You
I
know what?
actually-
Single digit.
Bro, I thought
Single
you were gonna
digits,
do
baby.
so well. I saw in the beginning you were actually.
I know.
Yeah, and then it's just.
I got a bullet. That's what it was. That's all it was.
But I was listening to everyone's streams, and you still had some confidence and some strive for it, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if that was
Nope.
just all for show.
I don't know what you were hearing.
No, at certain points you're like, yo, let's go. But
yeah, I mean, I was just happy to beat Scott, if anything else, but it's fine. I mean, good game, guys. Good game.
Jeez. The next person
For
is
everything. GG's.
next person is the worst streamer I know. We're gonna get Trisket here.
Over everything. GG's.
I don't know what number he is, but he's one of the numbers.
8.
Let's go, baby.
I'm just joking. He's chill. He was raging a lot throughout it.
Shut up. Not at all. He literally did not get angry a single time. Also, I'm showing your stream, so hi to you.
Hello. You had a few nice ones though. I feel like. You had a few
A
nice
couple.
ones in there.
I came in third once, and that was pretty nice. But beyond that, yeah, my luck was dog shit.
Yeah.
I love hitting me with those greens. Not even reds. You don't need to send it specifically to me. You just send it right to me, direct mail. Just set right in the slot.
You also had 162 points, so you're middle of the crowd. Not bad. Not bad.
Okay. I'll
Well, it was 8.
Nothing. Anyway, next with 174 points is Danny, who is Boom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Bro, the
That's
first
good.
race, everyone has different discords, different
Yeah.
races. Sometimes it gets confusing, but what's up, Boom? At a certain point, I feel like you were getting top 5 very often, and then towards the end of the race you just get screwed.
Dude,
that felt like the pattern.
I was in the front. I was having a good time. I would either miss a turn or get hit by a red shell, and then it just derailed from there. It was just all downhill, and
Yeah.
it didn't change, but it was fun.
I don't want to interrupt too much here, but I gotta head out. I got another thing I gotta go to. But great playing with y'all.
No worries.
No worries.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks for
Good
being
game,
here, man.
Scott.
Thanks for playing.
Yep.
Finally, he's gone.
God,
Anyway,
Oh, clip it, clip.
I'm joking. Is Boom 6th? Boom is 6th, yeah. Next, straight in the middle right there. Next we
I
got...
thought Boom 7th.
Oh, Boom's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Oh, yeah, 7th. Oh.
7th. Uh-oh.
Anyway, we got... I messed up there. Fairy
This
is...
streamception is way too dank.
It's beautiful, actually.
Holy.
Fairy
Dude, my mind is
next.
blown with how many of you and me are on screen right now.
I should really be watching.
Next is Fairy, who was
Yes,
8th.
top 50%.
Or not 8th. What place? You had 185 points. Next
which
is
I'm game
pretty
6.
good. I thought you would do worse. I'm not gonna lie. But,
Wow, thanks.
good job. You're the only person to. You're the last person to have less than 200 score. So the next are like the top of this tournament.
I'm in the top 50%. You know?
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna go a little faster through these because it's probably annoying. Sorry.
Better than average.
Yeah. Next we got Jimmy. Surprised me by doing good the third tournament because he sucks at video games. But I'm joking. You did really good in the third part, honestly.
Thank you. It was fun racing with you all.
Yeah, 259 points. Next is 264, so only 5 points more. Xavier S.
70 points.
Hey, what's up? Was that 4, right?
That is 4th place, yeah.
Oh, sweet, nice.
Top 4, baby.
Next is 264,
Yep,
so only
but
5
you're-
points
no.
more. You know what was really annoying? Xavier, you're the only person with a webcam over the place you were in. So like I had to figure out what place you were in. Like.
What do you mean?
Like your webcam was over. Like if you were 3rd place, I wouldn't be able to know because your webcam
Oh,
was over.
my bad. You should have told me after like the first turn.
Nah, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I should have realized that.
Bro,
Oh,
you
well.
had some really good ones, like runs, like 2nd, 1st place, 3rd place, but then you had some not so good ones.
Yeah, I know. Like there was one time where Boo attacked me twice in a row. I'm like, what the heck? I lost 2 items.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I think we caught that one.
Man. I was just like, okay, I lost the item. I think it was lightning or something, and then Boo took my item. I'm like, dang it, I'm in the middle of grass. All right, I got an item. Oh, Boo took my item again. And then something happened after that. I'm just like, yo, this is terrible.
That's Mario Kart, right? All right, top
it's
3
Mario
now. We got top 3. All of these players are top of the top. I mean, everyone else was also top of the top. Don't worry, guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love you all. Everyone else was also top of the top. Oh, I just
guys.
myself.
Oh, wow.
Next is Clover. Honestly, I thought Clover was gonna take it. Like the first tournament, the first 2 tournaments.
Same.
Yeah, the first 2 tournaments he was owning, but the 3rd tournament, I guess he choked, and he had 289 points though, which is quite a bit.
Damn, you know what? I'll take that.
Yeah, and you played really well, so I hope you enjoyed at least,
Yeah, I had fun.
And the last 2, we got Sammy. If I forgot to shout someone out, just let me know.
Ooh.
My bad. Who has a key in his hand, which is he showed me that key before. Cool key. Nintendo guy. He got 302 points. I don't know if he's not talking in the Discord, but yeah, he's just like showing the key off. And then the last person.
I'm silent, but hey.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, and the last person, 300. Wait, guess how many points Kid got? Can anyone guess?
364.
Too many.
350.
Too many was correct, but he had 373 points.
I was close.
Oh my god.
So that's it's goddamn crazy, bro.
Oh god.
Congrats on the win. Honestly, obviously it wasn't as even as I would like it to be, but I hope you guys at least enjoyed it. Also,
honestly, I had loads of fun, but I gotta give the biggest shout out to not only my esports crew heroes, but I gotta give a big shout out to Mike Monster Gaming, who ironically tweeted out that you were doing this tourney. I was like, I got the hell with it. I'll join.
True, and we were happy to have you. It was also cool to you were really close with Clover and stuff like that. Just
Yeah,
parting
honestly, those were pretty much death-defying races, and I loved every single minute of it. If you
Nice.
decide to do this again, and I'll be more than happy to join.
Okay. But if I
No.
do it again with you, I'm gonna be very careful with who I choose on the tournament. That's-
Oh, no,
No,
believe me,
he can't
believe
do
me
the
when
next
I say
tournament.
this.
He has to join the following.
Believe me when I say this. That I'm not the only racer here. Like honestly, there are others that can demolish.
I
Believe
think,
me,
I think
have
there were a good
experienced.
amount of like good players this tournament.
Yeah, I
but-
know a few good players.
Yeah, but
I
okay.
do
Last
time
thing.
trial.
Last thing I'm
Oh,
gonna say.
right.
Sorry, is I'm gonna just shout out a channel that I made recently. It's called it's basically for small streamers like me and probably all of us. Thanks for the follow, guys.
Oh, you said you had 10K.
Small relative to the 100K viewer streamers.
My bad.
You said you had 10K.
So in that Discord, it's a separate Discord, so you could leave my Discord if you want, whatever. But in that Discord, it's I'm basically gonna take clips from you guys and make like YouTube videos out of it. You know?
Oh, then I really hope that you got a really good clip of me to.
Yeah. So you guys could submit clips if you want. Or if you guys would let me use clips, I'll like search through your guys' clips and
use
stuff like
whatever
that.
you want, man.
Hey, you can use whatever you want. You can go to my VOD and clip stuff. That's fine.
Okay.
Seriously, if there's one specific clip, if I would want, I don't know if I should spoil it or not, but when I pretty much got first play is in Mumu Meadows, I decided to just sing out of nowhere Doja Cat's "Bitch I'm a Cow."
Nice.
Because
I missed that. I did hear you singing once or twice when we popped in though.
yeah.
Oh my god.
All right.
Really, I was just
Singing in the races while I'm struggling to get fucking ninth place.
Seriously, you should hear the song that I just sang. I was singing "Live in the City" and then "Bitch I'm a Cow" out of nowhere.
Bro, that cow song is amazing. Oh my god, it's so many of me. I love it. Okay,
I'm
so
waiting for my life
Yeah, that's true.
to get something other than 10th place. This man's just casually singing.
I think the only memorable moment I had was goddamn Australian ninjas. But
Australian Ninjas.
Yeah.
By the way,
Australian
so if you guys enjoyed you, thank you. It's pretty much over now. If you guys just want to talk in chat, that's fine. But I'm gonna be ending stream. Thanks for joining. I really, really do appreciate it. This is my first tournament ever, and I honestly thought it might be much worse. So I'm happy.
Yeah, man, you did a great job. You
I'm
did a
happy
great job.
it's
This was a lot
Very
of
good
fun.
job.
It was very fun, man.
Alright.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
Great job, Elliot. Good work on this
Great
shit.
job.
I'm not just
Everybody chat, light up
Yo,
for
shout
Elliot.
out,
bro.
shout out
I'm
to
not.
the mods
I'm not
that,
saying it
created
for
those two
that,
tournaments.
bro.
Yo,
I'm not-
shout out the mods, the unseen
True.
hero.
True, actually. Actually, that is true. Doctor created 2 tournaments. But yeah, I don't want to
Shout
let
out
you
to
guys,
Doctor.
you know,
That's
Alright,
fine.
now
But you
real
guys take care. GG's.
have a
That's fun.
great one.
Doctor.
Thanks for the invite.
I
Have a
don't
good
laugh.
night, guys.
Yeah, and I'll send
Alright.
you the
Good night.
GG, guys. That was a lot of fun.
card.
GG.
Good game,
Bye, guys.
everybody.
GG. Have a
Bye-bye.
good one,
Bye.
guys.
That was a good time.
Nighty night.
Bye bye.
See you guys.
GG's.
Alright, now who wants to play some Mario Kart?
No, I don't even want to. I wasn't even playing, and I don't want to play. It looked so depressing. Half the people were just depressed, bro.
I think I'm gonna go do some time trials.
All right.
I'm gonna play some Mario Kart still. I'm not gonna lie.
You guys are crazy. I'm gonna end stream, so I guess I could raid you since you're still playing Mario Kart. Who should I raid?
Whoever you want.
Nah, I don't like having to choose. I'm just gonna end stream.
It's a good idea. Good idea.
People
I'm
watching,
probably
if you
gonna
want to
say.
watch, everyone is. I'll put all the players again in chat, but yeah, check them
I'll
out.
say, I'll either do time trials or multiplayer with Jimmy if Jimmy's up for it.
I would love to.
There you go.
Yeah, alright, I'll make a lobby.
All right,
We'll do
see you
some
guys.
TLC track.
See you, Ping. Thank you
Ta-da.
again.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, it's over. Honestly, I learned. GG. Yo, good use of the emote. I learned. First of all, I've been holding in my piss for so long, but and thank you for everyone who followed. If you're still here, I don't know if you are, but Valor, Solra, Boom, Keydor. What a name, Keydor. And Gamer for the bits, and Mike for the bits earlier on. I learned that I really have to concentrate. Thanks for the follow, Clover. I appreciate it. GG's indeed. GG's. What's up, Nathan? I learned from this tournament for future tournaments to try to find people who are more similar in skill level. But I'm not gonna lie, I think there's a big difference between streamer and viewer thing. Like streamers just know I don't know, it was just it went really well. We are gonna have a viewer tournament in the future, but it'll be different obviously. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. For anyone wondering what we do here, I don't even know. What do we do here? We just do different types of challenges. We're playing Hollow Knight now. And I want to do more tournaments in the future. And yeah, we do other stuff. Well done on hosting a tourney. Thanks. Honestly, biggest shout outs on Doctor for creating those tournaments and on everyone who joined. Everyone came on time. Everyone was actually there. You know how hard it is? 12 people, 12 different people joined, played, it's, and even though I know it might have not been the best for some people, especially because the rankings were a bit all over the place, I think overall it went well. You just want to end it all? Same, bro. I've been holding in this piss, so I'm gonna end stream. Thanks for watching. Where's my buttons, bro? I have all these buttons. Where's my buttons? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm gonna bye and roll the credits here. Oh yeah, Lux actually was, bro, you were second. You were pretty much owning. You were playing the best there. And okay, I did everything I wanted to do there. Cock this. That was pretty good. Well, I'm happy you enjoyed. And thanks for the help, Doctor. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for watching videos with stream, actually. So you guys send videos and we watch it on stream. But usually they're pretty bad videos. But I'll still watch them. Have a good night. Have a good night. Or day. Or I press the same.